number 3. We are in the rum shop, me and Stephan.
What going on?
Nice.
Everybody good? Nice.
We here, Mr. Matterson, as usual,
With my punching.
with your punching. And we joined today by Dr. Roger Samuel, former minister, former senator.
I'm
Now
here.
he-
I'm
now he
here.
from shop.
I'm here.
Dr. Fuad Khan, not Dr. Fuad Khan.
Yes.
Can't.
Yeah.
No,
Otherwise-
look at all.
Otherwise known as Rashji.
Rashji.
I swear, I swear. Stephan, if I had the time, I was going to buy some of them Rasta thing. And all of we here, come in here, and all of we are ready.
I want in my car, you know.
Right.
Swear.
I want in my car.
But yeah, that's squirrel too, you know.
I
Yeah,
tell
that's
you.
true, yeah.
But I was starting to talk, right? Because we're in the rum shop, right? What inspired you to do that? Because all of a sudden, because people know you as a politician, as a
Right.
doctor, serious fella, next thing you know, you go to social media and you see Dr.
Rashji.
Fuad Khan in a dreadlocks with a darkers, and he's Rashji. What inspired that?
What inspired that was this. I had to find a way of, that's after ministry, of course.
Right.
This was after 2015. You had to find a way to send a message to the ground.
Uh-huh.
But the ground had to be acceptance of the message. You can't do it as a politician because you say political talk.
Right.
So I was looking at a show on TV and I was cracking up laughing. Ali G and Borat.
Ali G and Borat.
And Ali G take me. I say, wait a minute. This is not a bad idea. Everybody, he talks, it seems like he's talking rubbish, but he's talking sense.
Right.
Interviewing everybody gets into interview. I say, what I could do? And I say, wait a minute. I Rasta, and G is basically brother.
Okay.
G's brother.
But we talked
yeah.
about that last week.
Alright.
We talked about that last week when we talk about it. When we talk about John Stewart from
Yeah,
Comedy
yeah,
Central,
yeah.
Yes.
more people get their news from
From
people
John
like John Stewart than
But the
CNN.
Daily Show.
Yeah.
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show, Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say it's
Well,
a
John
fact.
Stewart.
So I realized that people
Before.
like to listen to that.
Yeah, because
It's
but,
too much seriousness around it.
you see what I'm saying? You had a fine out when you would have never do that as Minister of Health.
No, I couldn't.
You can't do that
No.
because people
Why
will
you
say,
couldn't?
"What crazy
Wait,
man,
wait,
we have
wait,
one
wait. Why
Robert."
you couldn't?
Oh,
No,
we
no.
have one
As
now.
minister,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
As Minister.
That's a,
The
I
composite
put out a
just-
post.
yeah.
I put out a
Yeah.
post this morning. I referred to him as our Kulumunu of health. He can't be a minister. He's telling people, 20,000 people in Bandara Stadium, not obligated to wear a mask. The little children in school after. I said, this is not a minister. This is not a doctor. This man is a madman. Richard Blaze, our national security advisor, messaged me and said, you shouldn't be using words like Kulumunu. You're referring to a minister. I said, brother, some things, what Dr. Khan said is a fact. Some things, you put a little comic twist on it, and it hit the ground.
And they hit the ground and
Yeah.
they get people attention.
And then I introduced the squirrel. No, what?
I didn't understand this girl.
No, don't understand squirrel.
I didn't understand.
Here why? There's a comic called Dilbert.
Yes.
Okay.
Dilbert is a serious comic
That
about.
I like that.
But who is the one you listen to most?
The garbage man.
Dog boat and the dog boat. The dog and the cat and cat bird.
Ratbert. And yeah, no, Dilbert is serious.
No. So it's serious thing you're talking. So I say, wait a minute, how do I
You ready?
how do I bring this thing and bring this thing? So wait a minute.
The
I
smartest man is the
That's
garbage man.
yes. And the thing about it, you get a lot of information and you listen to Dilbert and the garbage man and Dogwood could say the most ludicrous things and get away with it. But he's serious. So I say, wait a minute, I had a puppet and boy. And I say squirrel and idiot. And squirrel come up. And
President
so we had Rashi from Ali G and squirrel from Dilbert. And here the combination, people started like squirrel more than Rashi, you know.
Wow. You see?
Listen, listen.
You see?
Because he talks.
Yeah.
He talks. So you
No,
want
but you had to connect to people. Politics and issues is will bore some people. It has some people that just tune off. So they want to hear it. So you really had to find a different way to
And
present it.
There's one I tell you that you need to be,
Proper.
something
Prim.
like this.
You've got to be proper.
And they do,
Speak the Queen's
they do
English.
poor Gary that. Gary come up with NTA. You see Gary?
Yeah, I think Gary.
Very,
I think Gary
very,
from
very
from
private
last.
serious,
What's wrong with Gary?
But listen, that is not the Gary that you know.
No.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's in the Gary.
you know, it takes Trinidad so long to get accustomed to Arthur N.R. Robinson. We know you're saying that.
Yes.
Know that nonsense?
No, but
You're
what-
the president
what-
Arthur
what-
N.R.
All of this is telling us, listening to Dr. Khan, is that where the voters are, the people who listen to anything, whose mind you want to get into, they're on social media. They list. These are the things that
Yeah,
really
that
attract
fascinate
them,
them.
fascinate
Yeah.
them. So when I hear the U.S. State Department want to remove TikTok from Facebook, asking Facebook and YouTube to remove TikTok from on their platform, I was kind of like taken aback. Why? Now, while TikTok might be attracting a lot of children, what are children listening to today?
Mm-hmm.
No, well, there is a more TikTok.
He's get serious quick.
No.
Take out this channel.
So TikTok is an innocuous social engineering machine. If you look
It
at
gets
TikTok,
serious. It gets serious.
You have
TikTok
to be
destroy
careful.
YouTube, partner.
not only that, if you let children look at TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and continue to look at TikTok, TikTok is using the same comedy and the same thing to
Yeah.
drive some serious
Message. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a message.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
some
serious
Serious
messaging.
messages.
and,
serious
But-
and youths will be completely destroyed.
Unless you are
Eventually-
aware
And who is the
Yeah, the
company?
message.
Who's the company?
The Chinese
it
company.
should pass you,
Chinese company.
and you don't realize
Americans
it.
own
till-
YouTube.
Correct.
Mhm.
Chinese own TikTok.
Yeah.
And that is warfare.
But Trump had,
Controlling the airwaves.
but Trump had passed a
ban.
ban to say that unless American companies don't own at
ban
least
Huawei.
60% of TikTok, you just can't have it on
You
there.
might find us unfair. It can't be for capitalism, and then when you get out capitalism, you're passing socialist laws. I don't agree with that. I say to you that if Americans get left behind, if YouTube run the show for a decade, and then TikTok come and take it under,
TikTok.
re-engineer. Look, Facebook jump out with
Reels.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
come in.
yeah,
But YouTube are YouTube
They're
shorts now.
re-engineering.
Same concept.
Yeah.
But
And TikTok trying to
And
do long
addictive.
videos. TikTok going to long videos.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing of it addictive, eh? You will be scrolling,
Yes.
so
You gotta be very careful.
And
Yeah, no,
2
for hours, you know.
2 hours passing.
Yeah.
and you will realize of it
I
now.
say, wait a minute, what the hell going on here?
But what do you think the metaverse is? They're just gonna say, look, just go inside the thing now, man. I'm done.
And done.
And don't come back out.
Look back on they spending so much time on social media, and it is really, really addictive.
It's amazing.
But
I have learned almost, apart from university, everything that is constructive, you can learn it on YouTube. You can learn to build anything.
You can
You
do
can
on
anything.
YouTube.
make
It-
roti.
it's called
You
the
can
uni-
learn how to make roti.
It's called
on
the University
I
of
know.
YouTube.
Yeah, and so I
have
tell
one
people,
problem with
I tell
anything.
You
youths,
could learn anything.
I
I
have
tell
one
you,
problem with anything.
What?
I'm not into the learning to cook on YouTube.
Roti.
Because you see what they're cooking, I can't taste it.
There's none.
If I can't taste it,
No.
if I cannot taste it, I don't do.
Brother, they have doubles recipes and things.
Mhm.
When you watch Baby Shark, because I have a 4-year-old and she watching Baby Shark, and I watch in the corner on the date, and I see the amount of shares, I have to go up close and check. It's 10 billion
Yeah,
views.
billion, yeah.
10 billion views. You get paid per view.
For view, yeah.
So when it's 10 billion views, what money you make? What money you make? Baby Shark, you hear that song?
Mhm.
It's a stupid little baby
Yeah,
shark,
yeah.
baby
Yeah.
shark.
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
billion.
I was saying that is just a
That's
small.
more views than
Good
there are
money.
people on the planet.
So what I'd say about, all right.
Baby Shark is American. It's not Chinese.
No, but what that says about the social and the political sphere, the messaging and the mediums. Where that put conventional media versus social media. Right?
Conventional media.
Well,
they-
clearly,
No, but
well,
conventional media,
clearly,
they're
clearly, and this
You
is
see-
what
They're
you see-
going,
you
but
see
they ain't
where-
gone yet.
They fully dead.
Mr. Man, in my house, growing up, we had a telephone on top of 2 telephone books, the old book and the new book.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right,
That's
right,
right.
right,
Keep
right,
your
yeah,
own-
That's
yeah.
right.
And they have the new book,
New book.
and your telephone there. That space in your house, you realize that
gone.
no-
Gone.
It's
but
gone.
You're not,
Yeah.
right? You have no phone there again. When you look at your television as a device that used to be something where 7 o'clock in my house, shut up, daddy watching Panorama.
News.
Daddy
That's
watching
right.
Panorama. And you can talk. No. When I turn on my TV, I don't have it had to be something.
if I hear something on TV6, I hear it
Bossman,
already for
I
you.
just had to
Yeah,
Because I hear it on
I had to
YouTube
call
or
people and
Facebook.
ask how to find TV6 on the TV.
Mhm.
To find the other day, they had something that was going on and we wanted to watch the news. But other than that, the storm. But other than that, Netflix, Disney,
But Netflix Netflix destroy conventional television.
Yeah.
Netflix
no,
destroy.
you know what Netflix destroyed? Netflix destroyed cable.
But right. Well,
Yeah,
conventional,
yeah.
all that
Yeah.
conventional.
Cable had run the route.
And TV
Yeah.
and cinema.
Mhm.
But,
Well, that
but
is
people
showing
go
every-
cinema for the experience
Yeah.
still, like
Mhm.
like movie town and
Yeah.
thing. But when you used to have cable to watch HBO and Cinemax
Yeah.
and Showtime, you don't have that
You
anymore.
don't have a
Yeah.
Now it's view on demand.
on demand, yeah.
And everybody, I remember when there was Trinidadian involved in this company with a little dish in his red, right?
Mhm.
And he was talking about getting the government to pass a law to stop Android boxes. Tell him,
I remember that, yeah.
tell him what a
Yeah.
crazy. There is an app that I could download to my phone that turns my TV into an Android. You can't stop it.
No.
You cannot stop that technology. You have to turn off the internet, partner. If you want to stop that, you have to, because there's an app for anything. I sure they have an app. If you put it on your phone and you listen to Terrence the I'll say he sounds smart.
Nah, it don't have that. It do have that, Philip. Don't come.
I sure they have an app for that.
That will be a
Philip,
dangerous
Philip,
app.
don't try to teach people head.
That's a dangerous
Don't
app.
try to do that. It
We're going to
don't
search
have
for that
that.
now.
Yeah,
It don't have that.
But imagine if that app was real.
Yeah, but
You're going to get that for when they used to have
Stephan
all
was
that press
talking about the
conference.
impact of social media,
Yeah.
politically.
Yeah.
That's what championed Barack Obama's
Yeah.
movement.
But can it win an election in
Latin
Trinidad?
America, you know, I mean,
It will eventually.
It will
it will
eventually.
eventually.
It
It
will
will
What's
eventually.
right, for the election I had in the election,
Mhm.
pure social media.
Yeah.
It will
Oh,
eventually.
yeah, it's true. You were just on just social
Yeah.
media.
Mr.
yeah.
Man, how much of your viewership at Synergy is influenced by social media? You are the only talk show host in the whole pantheon
Mhm.
that is straddling both
Both sides.
Yeah.
conventional
Yeah.
and digital. All of the others that trying, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but the others that trying,
Mm.
you could see that they're trying it, not natural to them.
No.
This was somebody taking somebody that made for internet and putting them on TV. That's how you look.
Okay.
You come across like, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? He doesn't look comfortable in that space the way TV people is look comfortable in this space.
But I look more comfortable on Facebook.
On Facebook,
Doing a live.
exactly that.
Yeah.
So when you try to bring people like JW and Fazir fight for years. Fazir would tell me this computer thing, this internet thing. Tell him, bruh. Fazir used to say
Nah,
that.
he look like what? So,
No, but Fazir used to say that.
somebody come and figure this out.
This, you can ask
Call
him.
your son.
Yeah.
Call your son.
Hey.
And one or two totally on social media now.
102?
Yeah.
Power 102?
Yes,
Yeah, one of the
complete
social-
social
yeah,
media.
they're on social
You can't get them on radio.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
serious?
One of them on social media now.
Hmm.
Look at that. Papa.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're on social-
Complete.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything.
Well, I think radio will be extinct it's just a matter of time
Yeah,
before
you know
radio
why?
gets
You know what-
extinct.
you know
Because
what
on
is
demand
The
again.
medium is on
That-
demand. You can
that's
see
the
it
issue.
on your phone.
A
Movie.
cell phone.
You see what you're doing here?
Anyway.
You see this? Content is king. You could find a medium to broadcast any content. Right
Yeah.
now, Satish can tell you, there are 3 platforms in Trinidad want to take our show. Calling Satish and asking him about the show. Platforms now in trouble because they have to find content that keeps viewers by them.
Yeah,
Because everybody fighting for the same eyeballs.
correct. No, correct is right. It's interesting how quick it changed too, eh?
I
It's just like
support-
the other day, just like I remember saying no on radio, doing radio, and we was BlackBerry Messenger.
I watched,
Just the other
I
day.
watched a comedian
Look how
last
we
night.
reached out.
That is when BlackBerry was king.
Yeah.
I watched a comedian last night on Netflix and she was talking about, she said, this generation owes us. We went through all the crap that gave you all the internet. That's true. Sitting down, watching that blue thing on the computer screen. We're downloading a song on Napster, remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it reached
Napster.
98%
Yeah.
and it crashed.
It
Napster was it?
Yeah, crash.
Napster was the app.
You're
Was
going
the
out,
site
the
you
line
want for
coming
music
up.
free.
You're going out to party and you leave 20 songs downloaded. When you're coming back home, you say,
Ah boy, I had them.
Crash.
Yeah.
It crash.
So,
What you gonna do?
oh, your mother shouting that you come off the internet. She want to
What's
use the
that?
phone. She want to use the phone. Remember that? Dial up.
Philip, those were the days when you had a 1 gig computer and it was boss.
It was big.
Yeah.
Today,
One gig was
today,
down.
today,
Yeah.
a cell phone
Remember,
about 20 times that.
remember when you had a flash drive when you pull that up?
Yes.
Use people.
Oh,
Yes.
God, flash,
Yes,
right?
people
Those were the
before flash
days,
drive.
yeah.
Nah, floppy disk.
I remember DJs. As a,
You're going too far
as a
back.
DJ now,
Come back.
I didn't come up in the record days. I come up in the CD. So it
Oh,
was CD. But I remember when you
Yeah,
played,
baby.
if your CD only scratch, is song playing and it's ding, 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 ding. It's stick right in and the CD stick right in. Now you're gone, they
But
eliminate
I
CD
thought-
and CD bag. You're walking with 2-3 CD bags that won't play. They eliminate that. Now it's
a flash
CD
drive.
flash drive,
bag.
laptop.
I
thing,
used to
all
go
that,
and
yeah.
DJ with George
What-
Gonzalez. You're
what was
walking
the
with
two-
cold
the two
crate
guys
and
that used to
record.
sing. Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
Is the CD scratcher?
Girl, I'm gonna miss you.
show, boy.
Otherwise you might
them
never
lips-
know.
You lip syncing for life.
What?
And all of a sudden,
That been
over
China,
and
that
over
been
and
China,
over.
somewhere Hong Kong, somewhere.
Yeah, all those so they still lip sync and play it on the radio. You understand?
But they was big.
Yeah.
I was
They were
listening
big,
to-
they were
I
big.
was
No, but
listening-
I did still have two songs
They
I
get
listen
Grammy and they get big
to
awards,
all the
you know?
time. Girl, I'm gonna miss you.
They had
But right
Grammy,
now, every
boy.
single artist is lip sync.
Does lip sync
Yeah,
now?
No,
everybody
no, no.
sing,
What
yeah.
we're talking about is they
They
never
couldn't
sang.
sing.
They couldn't sing.
They couldn't sing.
They
But
couldn't
no,
sing.
when you
They
look
couldn't
at when you look at entertainers now
Homie,
ain't
They
like
singing, they singing.
oh no, but if they would come
Back
out
in
and they
the
tell
day,
you
they like-
auto-tune,
they like-
they'd be good.
They like
yeah.
They'd be
the
good for
recorded
auto-tune.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The recorded
I
playing.
could sing with auto-tune.
All
Auto-tune
them
doesn't make
shows.
everybody a singer now.
When you're talking singers and thing, you're talking Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're talking.
Those
You're
are the
talking
And today,
People
John
like,
Warwick.
People who
TikTok.
song the
Think
same
everybody
way
a singer.
recorded as well as live.
So you could just
Yeah.
go and
Yeah.
buy a song and
Same
you're
way
looking like a
recorded.
singer.
Yeah.
You know how you know when somebody could sing? When they could sing without music. When they could just sing.
Acapella.
I'm going to do
Acapella.
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 But I don't know if
You just talk about Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston's biggest song was I Will Always Love You.
Mhm.
That song from The Bodyguard.
Mhm.
Dolly Parton had sing that song first. That was Dolly Parton's song.
Yeah.
And I watched an
Country
interview
and
and they asked Dolly Parton how she felt hearing Whitney Houston sing her song. She said, "You heard her sing that song? That's not my song anymore. That's her song."
That's true.
Because
That's true.
when she hit that note in the end,
Yeah.
and that woman
Those
could
were the
sing.
Could
days of
sing.
singers.
Could sing.
Barbara Streisand.
She can sing.
Good Barbara could have sing. She could still sing.
But no, you're listening to a song and half the song is computer singing.
It
Yeah.
is computers.
Look, it had I don't know how much y'all are familiar with the versus battle and thing that is happening in America, right? They had the first R&B versus battle between Marion and Omarion. Just this week on here. Yeah, now it blew up the internet for the wrong reason. When them fellas and them open them out to sing,
Bad news.
it
No
Yeah, nah.
auto-tune. No auto-tune. Where
It's
the
the
auto-tune?
worst.
They can't sing.
them can't hold and know the song in horrible. All them check that one, them catch that one. Yeah, now that all people come and they say, well, wait, what is this? What is this noise?
Who is this?
Computer
That's
generated.
Omarion and Mario R&B singers.
Yeah,
them
yeah,
them
yeah,
fellas
yeah.
used to come up in the 90s and they were singing their songs in the studio,
The man.
B2K,
Yeah.
you know them guys, you know?
Yeah.
And watch me, I tried to listen to 10 minutes of that boy, I nearly went mad. I couldn't believe that boy.
Boss, the internet gives you so much information. I found out that the
boy.
majority of number ones come out of Sweden. Songs that are written as in Sweden. Justin Bieber and all these people, they go Sweden.
Sweden.
They have some of the best writers. The people who's win these shows, they have Eurovision.
Yeah.
Eurovision is
that's
a big,
amazing, you
that
know.
is a big
Eurovision.
show. Eurovision,
Mm.
what wins in Eurovision this year tells you what is happening next
Oh,
year.
yeah.
And ABBA was the first export from Sweden. but
They
it
were
was
they were
massive.
British. They were British,
No,
right?
they were
They
Swedish.
were Swedish.
Swedish.
I was
Agneta and Beyond and that's
They're
the names.
Swedish. Swedish.
But they had learned a formula. You ever listen to a song
Mhm.
and all the words together ain't making no sense at all, but certain segments you could
You could, yeah.
Because when you learn these things, you listen to things now with fresh ears and you realize that line and this line don't add up.
Yeah.
But this line, that
Making
resonates with me.
sense.
They learn that formula. They learn the hook.
Yeah.
They learn that if you bring that Scorpions had done a song called Still Loving You.
Yeah, familiar with that.
That song, in the first chorus, they take it to just about and then they drop it. And in the second chorus, by then, everybody waiting and you're holding your breath and you want it. That formula, you say that because you want that feeling over and over.
Over and
again.
over.
You
Like
plug
cocaine.
into, yeah,
You're
you
looking
plug
back,
into
yeah, we're trying to
that-
get back
that-
eye.
that, I guess is
It's a science.
Chemical
It's a
hits.
science.
Addiction.
yeah, it's
Like
chemical hits.
cocaine.
It's addiction. How addiction works.
But that's the other way that you get messaging across to, as we're talking about messaging, we're talking about social media, rash G character, comedy, music. Music is one of the best mediums to get a
yeah,
message
yeah,
across.
Brother, I have said so. You and I had a conversation and all that.
Yeah.
We talking once in an interview, but we agreed that people who driving on the road jamming Barry Manilow don't get in fight.
No!
That's
That's enough.
If your heart pound is air supply, at worst you're crying. You ain't fighting with nobody.
You ain't fighting nobody. You ain't
When you listen to
angry. You ain't
When you
angry.
listen to music, you drive. I tell people the first time I listen to someone here, lick out Ninja Man front teeth with a hammer. This man serious. I didn't know you could do that.
I looked at the interview where they interviewed a former gangster. And this guy said something that was phenomenal. He said, when they have to go and put a hit on somebody, he said they lock themselves in the car and pump it up.
Yeah.
And when they take too smoke and they pump up that, he said he could walk out of that car, walk up to his
And some
mother,
punching.
shoot his
Yeah.
mother, and
Yeah,
he
I
feel
don't know
that.
That's the
that.
influence music.
He
have.
said
Yeah.
they charge yourself up there in driving on
I
the road.
hear
And
some.
he could walk out there and
And
shoot
do
his
it.
mother
I
without
hear
any
some
problem.
music already that can make me shoot people too.
No,
That's
when
the
I,
thing.
when I said that music years ago, I said that music is responsible for the behavior of a lot of people.
Thank you.
No, when I said that, I said people wanted to kill me.
No, because you see, you have to. The thing with with people is they want the truth, but you had to get them the truth in a way that they could digest it.
Doses.
That's your Rashti and Squirrel company.
Exactly.
But you know that music seeks no permission to enter into you. It's the only thing that seeks no permission to enter into the human body.
Huh?
You could be sitting down here, something playing, you ain't paying attention to
I make a
it.
joke.
All of a sudden,
You
you're
start
tapping
tapping
about
your
it.
Yeah.
And somebody say, hey, enjoy the music. What music? It seeks no permission to
It's the
enter.
beat.
Yes.
It's the beat. What is it?
Rhythm.
You see when a baby's in the mother's womb, it hears the heartbeat in different decibels, especially bass. Think about
David
how
Rhoda say that in the engine room, you know. He says 9 months, my mother let me check out she heartbeat.
Yeah, rhythm.
voodoo, voodoo,
Rhythm.
voodoo. Look here, start over.
Rhythm.
He do that breakdown in that song engine room. If you listen to that song, David Rhoda engine room, he do that. Say when people feeling the adoption,
Yeah.
you know, that we
And
talking
that is
about.
what you get
Yeah.
accustomed to.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
If you want to sell anything to anybody, understand what made them tick when they were a child, and give them that same smell, that same process, that same everything.
I just have one question about that though.
Yeah.
How some people come out born without timing at all?
That's
because that mother had a heart problem.
I think my mother have
That's teasing you.
No, but I think that's true.
No rhythm.
Because I just dance in and out of time.
No, but that's a serious thing, you know, because I've been saying it. I said it since my radio days. The music
Yeah, boy.
is going to change the way society
Culture
operates.
changes, you know.
If your lyrical content have more promiscuous kind of
Yeah.
content, you're going to end up with a promiscuous
Oh,
society.
Stephan,
Stephan,
mind,
Stephan, you mix the music, no offense,
Yeah.
with TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Mind control. Mind
Facebook.
control.
Wow.
Mind
Instagram.
control. Mind
And
And
mix
they
the
have the
music.
results of what you have
You know what
today.
you have there? What makes people fat?
That's right.
Sugar, salt, oil, called the bliss point. That same music, as they say in TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
You have the same bliss point that makes people addicted and change their brain waves. So they become
They
a
can't do
totally
without
different
it.
person.
Wow.
Can't do without it.
Re-engineer.
Yeah. And you don't, watch me, it's all happening and you don't know.
Bring her rungs, man. Bring her rungs. This
Yeah.
thing is
Yeah.
heavy.
Stop me
We're taking
before
a
I
deep
even-
dive.
No, but it's a serious topic, you know.
Yeah,
it's a
but-
serious topic. It's a serious thing.
I hear it.
You see the girls on Instagram these days? You see the selfies?
the
You remember girls in our day?
In fact,
Boy, they couldn't.
Sometimes-
You couldn't get a.
Sometimes they
a
look like
miniskirt, was it?
sometimes they look like they're
Mini
selling
skirt,
something.
was it?
Sometimes they look like they're selling something 24.
no, but
Don't go down that road.
no, but Stephan and Phillip, the girls nowadays
Mhm.
are being trained to do that. They are being focused to become, I don't want to use the word here,
Yeah.
if I get
No,
up,
no, no.
but they are focused
You're right.
in that direction.
No, but
Correct.
you're right.
And they think that is the way to
When
go.
you look at that billboard,
Mhm.
I was just driving down Cipriani Boulevard, right? And I was in traffic. So I had a choice to study and everything. I studying the White Oak billboard across the road from town. So it's 3 people hung up, a man taking a picture. It looked innocuous. A girl raising a cup. And everybody have a bottle of rum in their hand. and they look happy.
They enjoy themselves.
They look happy. They
Yes,
enjoy themselves and
yes,
they're happy.
Yes.
Very young people who are now coming of age where they have to go out and get happy
That's a sign.
will see that image
right.
and buy into that.
Totally.
Rum,
Yeah.
and I happy.
You know,
because
the one
because
put up a
you're
billboard.
thinking, huh?
They won't put up a billboard with a mama about the rum wrap around a lamppost in a car. Because they ain't gonna buy into that. But
Interesting.
they show happiness, enjoying yourself.
But
No, they say if they ever share the information that the Marlboro man died of cancer,
He did.
people will stop smoking.
Yeah,
But
lung cancer.
But they also told you, I think there was a study, or it had information that come out a little while back with IG, where young teenage girls, they found that a lot of them would go into a state of depression because if you're overweight and you're looking at these pictures that these other girls
Yes.
All food is
sharing, right? Which Photoshop,
All
you start to go into a state of depression because you're going on a diet and you're dieting, you're starving yourself and you're trying to get to that point.
Which
where
was
you wanna
one of
look like them,
which was one of the protesting
which led to
factors for,
suicides and that kind of thing.
TikTok.
yeah.
But it's a TikTok
because
had
sending
that kind
a
of
message
effect
that
on
is
that
what.
kind of
So
psychology.
That is
Beauty.
that
Beauty.
Yeah, that is beauty. That is what is acceptable.
But you know what?
That's the in thing.
But okay, so I just want to ask this
You
question.
gotta be
right?
careful here.
Because there's a counterbalance of sensible thinking now having access to the airwaves. People being able to do live videos and shows and give other versions of reality to people. And people, I think they call it woke, people waking up.
Yeah.
To some of this is nonsense. Some of this is crap. And people are pushing back at a lot of it too. So I think that, don't get me wrong, I think there needs to be some kind of adult in the room.
Well, the thing
We need an adult in the room because if you look at it, I mean, I was looking at all of the things that's happening, like all of the movements. A movement is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
If you get your movement to take traction, because people have not much going on in their world, and they jump in your movement and they feel like they belong.
The candlelight
Yeah.
movement. Perfect
Which
example.
one?
The candlelight movement.
Yes.
He went light one. You went and light a candle opposite the Red House. I remember in the earlys, for the first few days, it was just you and a few other people.
No, but it resonated with
And
people
then
because
started coming.
But you
Started
remember the
come out.
picture of Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump
when
started
he
to
started
run.
running, it's the
Yeah,
same
and
thing.
people started
And he
running.
started running
And
behind
people
him.
started running behind
And
The
him.
then-
Gump effect. The Gump effect.
Yeah, it's
A
Gump
move-
effect.
I didn't even know that. A movement is a powerful thing, but you see it's a powerful thing for good and a powerful thing for bad.
But how you
Yeah.
how you felt. I just cut in across here because you say that movement is a powerful thing. How did you feel as a person, right? When you know you went and you light this candle outside the Red House, right? Remember, it had vigils in nearly every part of Trinidad and Tobago at one point in time, which obviously, came about because of what you started. From looking on and seeing that, then, what you felt in that moment?
No, honestly, it just felt like all of us showed up at different times.
Uh-huh.
I didn't feel like I caused it. I felt like I showed up. Others were showing up. It resonated. You understand what I'm saying? You could talk about like when we were in Paria for the divers.
Yeah.
For a little while, the story wasn't going anywhere. It was Carnival weekend. And the story wasn't going anywhere. But at a moment that it shifted and people started to realize, wait, now there are human beings
Down inside
in
there.
a pipe.
Right.
And the attention shifted.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, but what's going on now?
But Andrea,
Yeah.
that's what you brought up, right? Andrea, she was such an easy person to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad made it easy to relate to his daughter because he made it possible for us. He made it possible and he shared information. I mean, what broke me was that video when he fixed her little car
Yeah.
and she was driving her little car. She's a big woman driving the little car. That broke me. And I said, no, this is unacceptable. Now, it's not to say that all of those other girls didn't have a situation, right? But he let us into Andrea's world and we found this innocent child that really didn't deserve this.
But you see,
So it's not
And
just, and I just want to
is
say,
the same thing, the Keep Noel project, it's the same thing
same
when,
thing,
you
but
know,
okay,
137,
but you see, like how you mentioned that, right? Look what went on with the candlelight vigils, Keith Noel.
I guess that's a good
Katie's,
parallel.
Team
That's a good
Katie's,
parallel.
right?
That's a good parallel.
Right? So if we talking movements, right? If we talking movements, because Dr. can't just get licks in an eternal election. So, as we're talking about people being woke, apparently some people still asleep. And because
No,
the
but
probably
no,
same
no,
person
you see, you
to
say that.
run the
No, but
opposition
you say that.
that losing right through.
No, but if you
So-
say that, right?
Uh-huh.
He is one already for the same party. And I've asked this question, right? There are people who will tell you they will cut their vein and let out blood for Rowley. But if
Yes.
Rowley step out of the PNM and run for Diego Martin West, he will get his ass.
You get
cut.
clobbered. You
He
get clobbered.
lose.
Yeah.
Cannot win. Kamala cannot win Superior outside of the UNC.
It happened before. When she went for NAR.
Okay, so that's so then what it is about the voting consciousness in Trinidad and Tobago, that it looking for a face, the place in what represents it. That's what it is. We have a preconceived, because they didn't like Rowley as leader. You know, when Rowley challenged Manning,
I remember that.
People hated it.
they had hate him inside the PNM.
Yeah.
That hate him inside the PNM.
You try-
I remember when you watch Patrick Manning say,
That was the
Mr.
first. That was the
Speaker.
first time.
No, but when Patrick Manning and him fall out, and Patrick Manning went and he had said, Mr. Speaker, I see hate,
I see.
I see
Animosity.
animosity. I see a man so
Acrimony.
acrimony. When you look behind him, you see
out of control.
Hunt. What's Hunt first name? Minister
Gary.
of Sport, Gary Hunt.
Yeah.
Hunt
Captain
and
Des.
was the one who got arrested, Gary Chacha.
Marlene.
Marlene and them, yeah.
I want somebody to tell me who built that desk here, because Marlene beat the crap
Out of that desk.
And it's
So
not.
them just had.
Yeah, they are.
Them just had.
But from
Ross with them just had.
Ross and them, yeah, good rough up when Rowdy challenged Manning and Shagran Watson.
Oh yeah.
They get real rough up.
Yeah.
From
But
City Ross and them,
what we
yeah.
need, okay.
That was
Very
the
rough.
first thing. The
Hines
first
and
one.
them get rough up.
What's my rough one? For fight and people.
Watch
Shake
me.
up and thing,
They
boy, push and pull.
Real ramp them up.
And you see, it's the same thing, because Manning had a cult of his own after NAR.
Mhm.
But when he lost to Kamala, they pet the man with
Yeah,
bamboo.
boy.
Yeah.
How does it
They
go?
really hit on him, you know. I never thought.
You know why? You know.
Is that hate given? Is that hate given?
What happened? No, no. What happened?
Is that hate?
No, 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 no.
I think so.
I will tell you. Okay, I shouldn't say it, but I can tell you. Okay, don't shock. But what happened to Manning? Had he called the election on time and lost, they'd have treated him differently. Manning called the
Snap
election
election.
a year and a half early, 18 months, right? Which he didn't have to. And that is
What
what
I
he did.
heard that certain people met in Barbados. Certain people who were sitting as ministers. Mr. Matteson, as a former general council member, you might have information that you could share. Were there people who were facilitating and undermining? I hear a man get summoned to the West and was told he was fired as the leader of the PNM.
Seriously.
I don't know, Dr.
You
Sam.
hear about that?
But I know, I don't know anything about it.
Because
I
they get
don't
too
know.
serious, but the reality of the thing is, the politics in Trinidad and
It's crazy.
Tobago is not really representative of the people. What you're trying to do, what you just tried to do, the things
Yeah.
you're trying to say, you know, and I mean, as a man
Yeah.
with a foot in
Yeah.
either side, you know that what you want, the ideal, is people-centered politics.
Yes.
Right.
But what takes place in Trinidad is party-centered politics, and
Or
it's not.
leader-centered politics.
The leader that
As
is
party.
placed, no, but the leader that is placed there, as the point I'm trying to make, the leader that is placed there is revered.
Well,
But that leader could be replaced and revered by, and somebody else could take the spot. Look at Baz and
that
Kamala.
is so, but you see, the thing with the two movements, the two major movements, they all galvanize around the leader. Whoever that leader is, to maintain that dominance in politics, you have to stay behind that leader. And so, Dr. Samuel,
Right.
That's how it is.
But if
And that's how it
Wendell
is.
Motley was the leader of the PNM, or Penelope
he would
Beckles,
have
they
been
get
the same thing. It would have been the same thing.
So
It's
yeah.
not
yeah.
it's not so
So
much
the- so
that it's not so
it's
much
not so
that
much that
It's
person.
not
that,
person.
that,
It's
that
the
person
position.
is the position.
Yeah, but
So then why is that so though? Why are the people? That's just the question I'm
Well,
asking.
we don't.
Let me
It happens.
It's kind
It
of
happens.
paradoxical, right? Because there is an old statement that says, a body of people is a lengthened shadow of its leaders. But it's the body of the people who puts the leaders in place.
right.
So where are we betwixt the two?
That's what I'm asking.
Everybody
That's what I'm
is
asking.
looking to believe in something in politics. And the thing
But
is,
boss, you show up at Balize House or you show up at Rienzi with your allegiance fully formed, has nothing to do with policy, have nothing to do with
No,
ideology.
nothing. You're
Yeah.
right.
Nothing.
It's just,
I am
it's just-
here, count me
in.
in the rank and file.
It's just euphoria. I mean, the thing is,
Yeah.
when you look at
So
what
it's the
happens,
same thing about
around,
belonging.
you're
It's a
right. You know,
feeling of belonging.
politics.
It's a feeling of belonging,
You know?
and it's okay. The whole world operates in hierarchies.
Mhm.
Everything operates in a hierarchy. There's something called the Peter Principle.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right. One at the top, and you spread out at the bottom. Right? Everything is a hierarchy. But if you could create a hierarchy outside of the hierarchy, then you could have the.
How are you doing that?
You could do it if you have two different concepts.
but see, the thing is,
But if you have a concept of
But people have to
The
be
thing
willing
is,
to hold
no,
two
the
thoughts
thing
in their
is-
mind.
if you look at the hierarchy of these parties, they engage in something we call groupthink.
Exactly.
In behavior, understand?
Sheep,
Groupthink.
sheep.
Sheepish
Yeah.
kind of man.
Sheepish, yeah.
So if the leader says something and you know that's where the leader going, you a detractor could say what? Everybody, you know that's the wrong
Boss
thing.
man.
you know.
Yeah, but the leader
But
said
look,
that.
you have an example here.
Everybody was.
It took a lot of courage to do what he did. To do what he did in a situation where he would be seen as an interloper.
Mhm.
That's how the people who loved him when he was one step behind her love him. They would do anything for Dr. Fuad Khan.
Peter.
But now he had the
Goal.
temerity and the
It's
goal.
the same concept.
Challenge leader.
It's the same concept.
Exactly.
That is
How
exactly what's
dare
happening.
he challenge
But
the
we had
leader?
to find a way to break that, right? And I think social media could do that because you see,
Matt, I'm
Mhm.
glad you said that, because what I was trying to show, if you followed me, my platform was not attacking the leader.
No, I like
Right.
my
My
proposal.
platform
I like
was-
the proposal. It's a
the-
very
the-
sensible
the
proposal.
leader was going to be in charge wholly and solely of the parliament. I didn't want to be part of parliament ever, again, but I want to have a strong party. I was trying to show a concept, right? Don King in boxing world doesn't fight in a ring,
Correct.
but he has a lot of fighters.
He's the promoter.
But the fighters in the ring do their job.
Mhm.
And you get a good fighter, he beats everybody, like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. But Don King is the one who makes it happen.
Yeah.
The party makes it happen.
Yeah, but,
If you don't have a good party,
but you
no,
know absolute power.
no, I know Phillip, but I was trying. I told you all this concept, and I wanted to see where he was going to lie.
But they was
Let me
One
talk-
second. You mentioned Don King. Don King is the promoter extraordinaire. I remember
Exactly.
Don King promoted a fight between two boxers and behind one. So when he find out the next man will, he don't get behind the next man.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Party.
That's where I come from. The Don King is the better part.
But when Anilema
No,
attempted that this European,
Exactly.
No,
he
he was
attempted
in
that
the-
with
No, but
European.
let me hear what Dr. Khan
You
said.
say group thing. Let me
Mhm.
show you group thing.
Mm.
This goes sound real crazy. In any society, 90% of people don't think.
Exactly.
10%
See
of
that all the
people
time.
think.
I see that
And,
all
how,
the time.
and I'll tell
That's
you
why the
something.
danger is there.
Rowley has mastered the art of talking to the 90% who don't think.
Exactly.
And we have mastered the art of talking to the 10% who think.
Yeah.
So that's
And-
why we get
And that was I call that the COVID phenomenon.
But you understand what I'm saying?
That's deep.
I call that the COVID
And
phenomenon.
that is
90% of the people
Okay,
just
but I want
wasn't
to say
thinking.
this because I want to use the example of the guy in the Matrix when he say, "I know it's not a steak I eating, but when I put it in my mouth,
It tastes like steak. Yeah.
See him? He want to get plugged back in. I want to come away from the 10%, but you're tiring on the side of the fence.
Because you're talking to the intelligentsia.
But it's tiring on
But
the
you
side.
start to
of the
talk now, Philip, to the 90%. The 90%.
Let me
you're
do
talking
fence.
what
We
they,
need to run for.
you're talking what they listen. Okay, Wildflower Park thing. You talk to the 90% there.
Okay, but we didn't, and I want to say this because he asked me a question just now. We don't edit what we stand for or talk about, and you could resonate with
Yes.
this based on what we think people gonna like. I
No,
never know,
but
but the
no,
90% showed up.
because,
that's what you're
because
saying.
you talk the language.
Your language.
Look at them fellas and them take away my whole park and all that poor little people.
Right.
That is what the 90%.
Okay, so he asked a question just now. So I guess you're answering his question that it is possible if you have enough policy and commitment to change. I think that is what he is saying because
Well, yes, but the thing is,
you could start to leave. He said build another pyramid. That if you start to leave the established order behind, if people start to get that hit,
If you keep
You know-
failing,
you
if
know-
you keep failing, you keep it has a, suppose next election we fail again. Suppose local government we fail again. Man will start to say, Can was saying it wasn't a bad idea. And you start to get the turning point. You understand?
We saw this video.
Yeah.
Where they had this open air festival, and it was huge. I mean, like if you sitting down, the stage was a dot. The stage was a dot, but the music loud, right? It's broad daylight. And they were showing you this video, and you could find this on YouTube. And they're teaching you about first adopters and influencers. And this first guy started up, and he started to dance.
Yeah.
He started dancing by himself. And people watching this man like he mad. And then a couple of people stand up and dance too.
Yeah.
And now he's the first adopter.
Yes.
But these
Early
people,
adopters.
early adopters as well. So they come.
That's right.
So when they started dance,
More
people who
people
were
started
interested in their dancing, who wasn't interested in his dancing, jump up and dance with him. Now the people who left on the ground are the ones who looking like they mad. Because everybody
Everybody
danced.
else.
Okay, Phillip, think of the iPhone. When the iPhone was introduced, I said, me what that? We're going to do that. I have a phone here. I have a telephone on the line. Think about when the cell phone was launched. And it has early adopters, right? And you keep going. And it's called an S-curve. It goes flat for, it's time versus concentration. It goes here, and then it does
Gradient.
the S-curve when everybody started taking it. Here is where a lot of people take it. Now we have a bell curve. The bell curve is like this. 10% here.
I feel like I'm in
90%
school,
here.
boy.
No. This is what
You gave me a lot of
reality.
I
information.
know. Listen, Phillip, when my wife went and did, when I was out of government in 2007, my wife went and did law because she fed up. She wanted to study. Let's study. I said, what am I going to do? I went to Arthur Lovejack and signed up for marketing. I did an MSc in marketing, and they teach you all that in there
They teach you that.
about the early adopters, the influencers. And
I
everything.
agree with that because
But
look,
that's what
as
happened.
drink more
Must have a
with
reason
soda.
why Trump win, eh?
As make
Yeah,
more with
because
soda.
Trump-
Exactly.
Exactly that.
He tell the people what they want to hear.
What they want to hear.
Exactly.
And he tell them in a way, in
And
a
so-
language
so-
that they
they
could
could
relate to
understand.
and
So
understand.
let me go to adult
He
politics.
didn't talk over
Before
there.
you go to
You know-
politics,
you know-
let's talk about the Moby and the soda. Have you ever...
I know Bobby and Milk.
Bobby Fist?
Moby-
Is that what it's called, Bobby Fist?
They never
Bobby
catch.
and
They never
soda?
catch. They never catch. But let me tell you,
Alright, go ahead.
I just have a bottle of Moby in my fridge and cold soda waters. And I just pour a little bit of Moby into the glass. And then you just pop the soda and you pour it in. It practically mixes itself. It's the best soft drink you'll ever drink. And I'm telling you, the head of its time, I like that S-curve, Moby and soda water coming. Your turn.
No, but I was a guy who really found that Watson Duke was just a guy who I just couldn't understand. I just couldn't understand. I mean, he was just
When you say
all
you
over
couldn't
the place.
understand,
At
you
what
couldn't
stage-
understand what he's
but
saying,
no,
but you
no,
couldn't understand it.
no, but listen.
He couldn't
I
understand the
went-
appeal.
Come
I
on,
went-
talk.
I went-
You couldn't understand the appeal.
Yes, but I went to Watson Duke's launch at the Hyatt just to see what's happening.
Yeah.
The guy impressed me.
Exactly. What's
He impressed me.
markets like a boss.
And the thing was, what Watson Duke did is his speech in particular resonated with the man who votes.
Because he talking to them and not at
Exactly.
them.
Yeah? It resonated with the man who votes.
It's the same thing I just do in the morning.
I will,
So,
It's same as my morning.
I'm saying that,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
no, but I want to ask you a question. I'm coming back to you now, but
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. Tell me a takeaway that you said that he's speaking their language, right? He's speaking
Well-
what they want to hear. Tell me one of the takeaways that you think was one of the issues that resonated.
Well, I look at the psychology of what Watson Duke was doing. You see, the people who vote want to hear how you will solve the problem
What is it for
from,
them?
what is in it
What
from
is it
them,
for them?
from a
Yeah, but
real
they have
perspective.
other
And-
things. Watson Duke, without whatever money backing him, that allowed him to go in the Hyatt and give away steak and champagne that drew you there, because I was going with you.
No, I didn't go for steak and champagne.
Did you
In fact,
get-
I left before before
But
that.
you
Before
knew
that.
about it because that's what you told me, because I didn't know about it.
Mhm.
It had
And you
steak and
told
champagne.
we was going,
Well,
we was going.
It's time for him to relaunch.
And I missed that. Steak and champagne.
time for
Hyatt
Very large.
steak and champagne, and not normal steak and champagne. So this is what I said. If it wasn't for that, if Watson had stand up on Independence Square talking the same thing, it wouldn't be as big a crowd. And you're saying, what you say is a fact. But you have to couch it in my comfort zone. You gotta give it to me in a place where I'm receptive to it.
Exactly.
And if I'm in Hyatt with cold breeze
Now-
and steak and champagne, but I'm receptive
No,
to just
no,
about
listen.
anything.
Let me just say this, right? A lot of people, you all were former ministers and you all were in parliament and things. A lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago
Except
don't
one
understand
They say you
how government operates.
They don't.
Yeah.
So you might
No
see the road in a state and you might blame a minister, but really and truly, the person who you might have to blame is the public servant. Because the vote was the permanent second. The vote was passed to fix the road. And it is just about how it is allocated, how it is implemented, that kind of thing.
Well, I think as we have two former ministers.
So you might be blaming the Prime Minister, but really and truly, the Prime Minister might be the person to blame.
He is 100% correct. Let me give you an example, a simple example.
You know what you're doing there?
Yeah.
By saying you're 100% correct, that
But that's
coming
it.
back with it there.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I'll tell you why.
Can you have that?
That's it.
Minister
Second
Health,
bottle, eh?
Minister Health getting licks for people waiting too long in the hospitals. When I investigated right down, you know it was? All the attendants were in one spot in the hospital, right? And when you want an attendant, you had to call that one spot, and whoever feel like coming will come and carry the patient.
Yes, seen that.
So what I did,
First hand.
I took them, I break them up, and I put them in each department, right?
Did it fix it?
Come with that, it started to get fixed. Next thing you know, PSA come and say, them supposed
Wait,
to
that's a
attend
different
them.
thing. That's an
No,
outside influence. I want to see what you did
I did that, it was working nice.
until PSA.
And then they went on strike on me. I moved the pen.
Union
I said,
stepping.
okay, that's all you want to work. I take my boys and them from Mount Door, Sunshine, right, who wanted work jobs, and I put them temporary in the system, and their job was to carry patients and attendants, right? You know what happened?
PSA signed them up.
No. They work like a charm. Everybody was happy.
Okay, but you had it working like a charm.
Because you break the system.
We talk.
And it's not. And what was happening? He's correct, because the public servants are the one who determine how things work.
But you made 2 points, and I want to just deal with 2 points. I want to deal with 2 points. You made a point where you said the system basically does not work, and if I blame the Prime Minister, it is wrong because allocations may be made.
Well, the
I
Prime
just wanna
Minister is
say
the
this.
leader,
He said, as a proactive minister, he found the problem and he broke it up. Now, when it was working, when the public service came and they went on strike and all that crap, that doesn't take away from the fact that what you did solved the problem. So while what he said is correct, it is not chronic. It doesn't have to remain that way.
No, it doesn't have to.
It could fix.
It could fix.
Phillip, let me give you
That's all I want to
an
add.
example of that. The ministry moved down to Reis Road. 3 days after we outfitted the ministry, furniture, everything, we had a bad weather. Half of the roof blew off.
Oh Lord.
Water inside the building. So I arrived on the building and I called the person in charge of maintenance. I said, what's happening? They're trying to get tenders for somebody to come and clean up the water. I said, the price much right there. There are some huge vacuum cleaners. No, but listen to this. No, there's some huge vacuum cleaners for about $200, $300. Go and buy 4, and you and your boys and them vacuum up the water. No good thing about it, we will have the vacuum cleaners here all the time after that. He said, Minister, that sounds good, that will solve the problem, but that is not the way we could approach this. You have to wait to get a
so the bureaucracy in the system.
You had to get we had to get 3 references, three people
three tenders.
Seriously? And you had to wait and all of that.
And one situation like that.
And while that happening, new deaths in water. You understand?
And that's the problem with Trinidad.
Take out some pieces of wood, lifting up
bureaucracy
killing us. Something, and they're like, no, Minister, no. So in other words, let the desks and them spoil new furniture.
It's not that. And I want to say it to you, and it is not me defending
To
bureaucracy.
vacuum cleaner, boy.
This is
Just
I am the opposite of defending bureaucracy. When he said that the system, you need to understand the system to change it. That situation is no different to when the road caved in by the lighthouse. And they give a contract without waiting to tender. You know there is plenty millions of dollars.
But as emergency works, you're allowed to
But
do
it's
that.
emergency. It's emergency work. So you have to have a system that allows.
Stop a minute. They went and contracted to some big company that cost them about 15 to 20,000, and the 2 vacuum cleaner was only less than $1,000.
So that emergency system is it the same thing is it the same thing that Jack Warner used to with the 5 million fire truck to pull out the
$7 million fire truck.
Central Tenders Board Act, right? Central Tenders Board Act.
We don't
It
get the
allows
figures
you.
wrong.
It allows you, right? It
Where is
allows
that
you in
by
the
actual?
emergency to choose where
Was
you
in the
want
museum?
by source electric.
Should be.
Yeah.
It's the most
So you
expensive
could
fire
choose.
truck in history.
You could choose wherever you want.
Mhm.
Once somebody has a track record of doing something.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You should have ministerial discretion. There should be somebody, because you appoint somebody. If you are the prime minister, when you appoint Fuad Khan as the minister of health, he's the prime minister of health.
But
He is,
but
I
the
just
minister,
want to say
but
this.
the minister, correct me if I'm
Boss
wrong,
man.
guys. The minister does not have that authority.
Not authority.
The system is crap.
The permanent secretary has
The
the
permanent
boss.
secretary has
The
that
permanent
authority,
secretary.
which is why none of them may get charged yet. No,
Boss.
nothing don't happen.
Yeah,
So
but
if that
a
is
minister-
true, if what he's
a
saying is
minister,
true,
yeah.
and
It's a
all,
figurehead.
you see, we will get
A minister is just a figurehead.
A minister is just
Because
a
the
figurehead. He
permanent-
don't
right,
have that
exactly.
kind of authority.
Section
Permanent
He is
secretary
part.
does not-
He's part of the
Section
institution
85 of the
that
Code.
makes the policies.
Or look at make me
says
talk.
that the permanent secretary, the accounting officer, right, is the one who listens to the minister.
Yeah.
But
But
in
the
practice,
permanent-
it's not
But
so.
the permanent secretary
And
will
us-
tell you no
So
minister.
you
I wanna ask a
see, the
question.
MPs, the
But you ever
MPs make
watch Yes Prime
legislation,
Minister? You ever watch
Right?
that? You ever watch
That is
that?
what
movie?
it's for.
and
That's
the
it.
cabinet and
So-
the
You ever watch-
everybody else making
Okay,
policies
okay, hold on.
put
If-
together.
if-
Just-
understand how
just-
government
If that is
Yeah,
the-
they understand how
if
the
that is
government
the
runs.
process and that's how things is run, okay, who really responsible for life sport? A man go there. A man want to go.
You know, like what?
Who responsible for
Sports
life
company
sport?
at Trinidad and Tobago.
The sport company of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
But you can't charge a company. Listen to
You
me.
can't charge a company.
You ever watch the show Yes Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Yeah. English comedy.
Yeah,
Yes
yeah.
Prime Minister. But I want to ask you a question. You were a member of the House of Representatives, yes?
Yes, I was.
Were you ever a member of the House of
Yeah,
Representatives?
2010 to
Right,
15.
good. So both of you know this. I want to ask this question because I want the viewers to hear this question. Who hearing this depressing piece of information? If the Parliament vote in unison to scrap our constitution and do a new one,
Right.
just that way, could they fix it?
Yes.
Constitutional reform.
But
If
just
if they want to fix
that's
it.
okay. Don't
Yes.
put that in. I'm just asking.
They could.
Does the legislature, does the House of Representatives have the power to say this not working? Move that out of the
Yeah, that makes
system.
sense.
They have
Yes,
the
they
sole.
do.
They have the
Yes.
sole
So-
power to do that.
It's
So
so
we are
important.
still failed by 59 years of a non-functional parliament.
Well,
Yes or no?
Well, yes.
No, the
Well,
parliament-
yes.
okay,
And no. It's
the parliament
politics.
has the parliament to change a constitution. You had to have a special majority.
Majority, yeah.
But together with the opposition. If you have such a tight parliament as you have it now,
It
and
just
have
wouldn't
for a
happen.
while.
Let's not.
No. But the parliament has the.
I asked you at the start if the parliament votes in unison. That's what I meant.
All right.
Everybody together.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
they just
Let's
want.
pretend like it's section 34.
All of us said yes.
Everybody
Yes,
said
yes.
Everybody
yes.
said yes.
But
Everybody
if,
said yes. Found out after that maybe
No.
Yeah,
that
the
what we
polls.
said yes to wasn't the same thing that passed through before.
No.
And all that drama.
Okay, but
We don't have to
the
go
challenge
down
is-
the
I'll just
line.
tell you. I'll
the
just-
challenge
let me
is,
tell
and
you,
I
let me
want
tell you. You bring it up here.
all right.
Section 34, right? Section 34 was passed by everybody in Parliament. I contributed to it in Parliament. Said it was very good law and it should go that way. You can't have a man languishing for 10 years.
Can't.
And
We still have it.
And you still have it. But what happened, the Section 34 part of it, is how it was, what was the word looking for?
it was implemented.
How it was brought,
quickly.
implemented.
Yeah.
The whole thing was implemented.
It was a
like this.
part
was
of
the
a,
indictable
it was one
proceedings
part
that one
of
came.
a
It was the
larger-
indictable
But the
So
proceedings.
somebody
Parliament-
cherry pick. Somebody
but
cherry
the
pick a part of
Parliament-
it.
No,
and bring it.
but where the bacchanal started is when the director of public
piece.
prosecution said
Informed.
that he had recommended that certain clauses for
The-
white collar crime should have been amended, Schedule 12 or something like that. This was a whole lot of the Indictable Proceedings Act, and they
And-
just took out one section, Section 34.
And-
But the
And I
parliament
sent it.
but they
Why?
But they agreed
Just so,
that
why?
code
I
would
don't
be-
know.
we had them.
Why was that?
Agreed.
Why was that?
Okay.
Why was that done on Independence Weekend at night over the holidays?
It was put in cabinet. It wasn't Independence Night, That was done. And said that these are the sections are going to be
Yeah, it was
assented
agreed
to.
to.
It was a whole set of
Yeah,
sections.
yeah. And then
It was just
subsequent to
that
that, the
section.
other
That was
aspects
part
were
of the
also
section.
laid in parliament.
Even though it would have done in 2012,
12, around 2012, sir.
what the Privy Council did
2012,
last
13, yeah.
Yeah,
week
right. throughout everything.
2 days ago, the Privy Council did the
Yeah.
same
Mash up
thing.
everything.
Yes.
The Privy Council do the same thing.
But Philip, it was good law. A man will can't for 10
It
years.
is ridiculous. I interviewed the heads of the prison service, and they tell you that there are people in that jail that are there years longer
For
than
petty,
That they're
petty
supposed
That
to
they're
be.
supposed to
that
be.
if they had
They were convicted.
full sentence.
Yes.
If you had given the full that
They're
you
gone-
could get,
they're-
Yeah.
so-
So,
long
so
time.
then why?
serve that and
So then
about
why
two more-
these
two more
people aren't out?
sentences.
There are people still waiting for bail.
this is who.
Because of the
There are people
system.
still waiting for bail who would, if they were convicted, right?
They're out of the prison
They would
system
be out of
already.
prison already.
Serve their time and all.
And let's look at this.
Wow.
Let's look at this. The DPP under our constitution can enter any matter and vacate it. He did it for the anti-gang
Yeah,
people
the
who were held during the first
Yeah.
state of emergency.
Right.
He did it then. Came in and vacate everybody. So the DPP could vacate it. The Chief Justice could ask for the list of everybody who's there longer than this period. They could have all of
Deal
them
with
come
it.
to court, plead guilty, time served. Everybody gone. The president have the power. The commissioner of police could drop all the charges. Plenty
No,
of
the
these are
DPP.
charges that have nothing to do with the DPP. Plenty of these is to stick a weed or jumbo buttons and Tifa sneakers. This is all the commissioner. There are 4 high office holders in this country. I asked Gary when he was commissioner. I said, Gary, he said he don't want to make the prime minister look bad. I said, but this is people we're talking about.
Mhm.
This is human beings that are in cages. And I keep
Philip.
referring to this as a human rights atrocity. We should really have room for this show.
Right.
Yeah, boy.
Like, Philip, when last you visited any of the prisons?
Aye.
Let me
Hey,
tell- let me tell
if you visit
something.
remand yard, you're
Let
Tell
me
us.
tell you something. No.
But this
Wait,
fellow,
wait.
the Ramesh Diosaran come out crying.
When I was in the
Puke.
Senate, there was a parliamentary team that visited prisons, all the prisons, except Tobago. And let me tell you something. If you go to Itogo remand yard, if you go to Port of Spain, let me tell you something. When you drive in Port of Spain,
what are we not talking about?
people are dwelling underground, you know.
Yeah.
I said, but this is the catacombs.
Cannot do
Yeah.
that.
Underground, where you're parking,
Yeah.
cells are below that.
Below
Let me
that,
tell you
yeah.
something. When you walk down inside there,
I went down in there already.
atmosphere
Boss
is
man,
thick, you know.
if you know that, Roger,
It's like
you are not
dungeons.
the only...
We brought it
Like
to
a
the
dungeon.
parliament.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Like
you
a
something,
dungeon.
John.
No, 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 we
Let me
should
tell
do
you
pest
something.
control. We
But-
should-
but-
we
but-
don't
But
to
I
the
was
pest
what?
control.
I was.
the worst,
Yeah?
That's what it was.
the worst
A dungeon.
aspect of this,
The
the
English
worst
and the
aspect
dungeon.
of
That's what
this,
it still is.
I learned some things going to visit the prison when we went to the cells.
Mhm.
Those guys say, Minister, inside there you have to sleep on a razor, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by razor?
Yeah.
He says, you gotta sleep on your side.
Mhm.
One person head so, one
It's about
person
12
head
men
so.
per cell.
One person head so.
Boss
Yeah.
man, do you know... Do you
About
know,
12 men
do you
per
know
cell.
fact-
12 men. The last man is right to the gate.
Let me tell you,
Roger, I would like...
when we went
Yeah.
when my father had the
Seven.
pest control company, we had get the contract to clean up the prisons for cockroach and rats, right? Palo, see that same part you talking about? We went down in there.
Down in the catacomb.
When we went down in that section that he talking about, when you pull the gate, it's only cockroach on the gate, you know, German cockroach, you know.
And-
When you go in the cell, I had to shine a light so quite pitch black. You
One
can't see
little
nothing
window,
inside
one
of it.
little vent like that.
When you shine the light, the whole wall
Yeah.
covered with German cockroach, you
I
know.
want to ask you
Men
a
sleep in
question.
soil.
Okay, I want to ask
I'm
you a
telling
question.
you.
So I want to ask you a question.
12 men
I want to ask
tassel,
you a question.
and everybody have a bucket.
Yeah.
We can't sue the state
Sad, you know.
for that.
And that's
We-
men that waiting trial, eh?
We can't bring an
That's not been that
action.
sentence,
We
eh?
can't bring an action. We can't seek constitutional
Class
review,
action.
judicial
Right.
review, something. We can't, honestly.
Yeah, horrible.
If this is something that resonates with you, that you speak about it this much, because I speak about this all the time. This is a human
It
rights
is.
atrocity.
It is.
This
It
is
is,
thing
it
people,
is,
countries
it
just
is.
go to war for.
It is.
Listen, you see what you're now saying? You ever went down and see it?
No.
If you go down and see it,
I've seen the videos.
trust me, if you go down,
Seeing
you have to
it
go down in
live,
person,
vomit.
partner.
No, I can imagine.
Philip.
If you go down in person,
Philip,
I guarantee you, what you feeling now, you will feel 120
Okay,
times
so then,
more.
all right. So then
Upset.
I'm saying, right? Just this one thing, and it doesn't have to materialize, but it can come out of this. Somebody needs to get a group of proper lawyers together and sue the state.
Yeah.
Sue the state
But-
on their
but-
behalf
but-
because these people have rights.
but Philip, I am not concerned just about the inmates, you know. the prison
Officers,
officers
yeah.
has to
True.
work
True.
down
True,
there in
true,
that
true.
dungeon.
Yeah.
Watch
It ain't
me.
easy.
Watch me. I
Horrible
asked prison
environment.
officers, I said, so when you leave your shift
Mhm.
to go home, what you do? He said, one, we have no place to shower.
Mhm.
So they cannot go and shower and wash themselves off and go home. Guys tell me they have to take off the uniform and tie it in a bag because they dare not go in the vehicle with that. You understand? And when they can't put that in the normal washing machine because they have to be so careful. It's not only the inmates, the prison officers
Judges
have
in
to
Trinidad
sit
get
in
something
that-
called
work in that
judicial
system.
contact, where they give them a 9 months, the state pay for, and they get a
It's
long
so
holiday
sad.
to clear their mind. We need to do something like that for our
Sad.
prison
But I
officers.
just
They
want to
have
find
to
out.
work in that
I just
system.
want to find out from Dr. Khan. You were saying there's some of the constitutional changes, right? You said with the parliament as tight as it is right now at 2219, it with the special majority that needed to make those changes, it'd be very difficult.
It will be
Okay.
difficult.
When the partnership was there, it was 2912.
You could have done it.
You could have done
That's
it.
what
It could have
I
been
wanted.
done.
The legislative agenda
A lot
did
of
not
stuff
come
could
But
have
from
been
I'm going to do something.
2912,
I'm going to
Wait, but you see, he could tell you
Mm.
that they tried.
You tried?
Yeah.
You already-
Section 34 was that.
Yes.
That is what Section
And
34 was.
Prakash Ramada
Was
was
the
head
I
of
know
a
that.
con-
PID behind
was
that,
a head
yeah.
of a constitutional
Reform
reform committee.
committee. Yeah.
Right. That's the
And we're waiting.
I thought that was really them making a
That was
fool of
good.
Prakash.
Yeah.
Because it didn't go
But no, it was
anywhere.
there. It was there.
It took too long. It didn't need 5
And
years.
what happened? What happened is that in that whole constitutional reform committee, what had to come out of it, which were the terms of reference, 2 terms for a prime minister,
Yes.
and also a couple other things.
But we went into there with that in mind,
Listen,
and
but-
referendum,
but the
and
powers that be
recall.
didn't want that.
Listen, I have
The
always,
powers that
I
they didn't want
remember
that.
I said it about
Yeah.
two
The
shows
powers that
ago
be didn't want that.
in
didn't
Trinidad
want
and
Wait,
Tobago.
wait,
We need a
wait.
reset.
Because
We need to go back
We
to
need a reset.
September 1st,
Because I-
Yeah, we need a
1960,
reset.
and start over.
I
We need a
always
reset.
wonder, with all this special
let me go to
majority,
something.
you had
NAR
29
When you say powers
NAR
that be, who you referring to?
I'm not saying.
Don't
N-
talk that.
NAR 33 to 3.
Exactly.
Best,
The best
best
majority.
chance.
No, but
Yeah.
more.
And I remember, no. I remember sitting down as a young man watching the thing and happy to work at party. And next thing you know, election night, they were interviewing A&R Robinson in Tobago, and that's when I started disliking. And he was so arrogant that night. He said, I will not touch the Constitution. Don't ask me anything about the Constitution. And the way he came
They should
across,
have been-
Like
I
he was-
said to myself,
As
I
a
said,
new maximum leader.
I said to myself, my God, what
What did we do? What did we do?
this is what we got to do.
What did we do?
but looking back,
The
right?
only thing we rewrite history for him
Yeah.
when he said attack with full force, but Robbie had some things he had to answer for him.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, right?
Uh-huh.
You had 2912, you was part of our administration.
Right,
at
yes.
2912. Looking back at it, and looking at the Constitution as today with everything that happened today, what would be the 3 things that you would you
If you
could say
had
for
that majority,
sure
no.
had a cheat?
If you had that majority, no.
The first thing I would have gone for is proportional representation.
Proportional representation.
So you don't have first past the post, and your proportional
take it all.
representation would have been a better move for the country itself. That's one,
Okay.
right?
Makes a lot
I
of
would
sense.
have had 2 terms for a prime minister, exactly like the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come back because a prime
For our
minister,
prime minister or for our party.
prime minister,
Prime Minister.
prime minister. I'll tell you why.
So the Republican Party in America could win every election.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Trump
President
Yeah,
over-
that
Trump
Yeah.
could only go
Two-
twice.
yeah,
Yeah,
have
two
two
terms.
terms.
Yeah,
Reason behind that, if you keep going down the road as how Eric Williams went and whoever went, right, you are going to have stagnation, only doing things for votes. You're not
Yeah,
doing things for the country.
One
If
kind
you
of
have
ideology that probably
If you have 2
Yeah.
terms alone,
isn't
right,
taking the country anywhere.
you have to
To
fix
keep
You
it.
have
your
a
party,
window of
to keep
time
your
to
party there.
accomplish.
That's
Okay,
one.
but-
And you
And
know,
what was the other thing?
I can't think of the
You say
third one.
proportional representation.
Recall
terms.
Recall.
would
Recall.
change
Recall.
politics in this country. You
Recall.
could recall a
You could
parliamentarian.
recall a parliamentarian or any councillor or any.
But if you could do that, all of a sudden, then people
But listen-
talking about that they
And I
don't
would-
see them MP.
I say
Phillip,
that-
Phillip,
Yeah.
Phillip,
I would
Phillip.
have changed it.
You
I would
know-
have changed the laws relating to the public service.
These two gentlemen here have been in office, and I will say this. 90% of the Trinidad do not understand how government
Government
works.
They
Yeah.
don't. They don't.
They just don't.
They don't.
I find that
And
number,
because
I find that number is high.
and listen,
That number is high.
yes, and even persons who are talking about politics, like,
They don't
they
understand.
don't understand
I
it.
hear
People
people,
who talking,
yeah.
they don't understand.
take the time
What
to
what we
learn.
need, we on the
Civics.
bell. What we
need
need,
some civics.
we
We need some
need
civics.
a reset. We need, some of the
You
politicians
need
that
to
have
be
been in
careful
office
what you're
on
saying
both
there.
just now, on both sides. If they would only come together and understand what we're talking about here, the things that need to be changed in this country, they too will understand how serious it is. When you talk about people languishing in prison
Brother man.
for something that
That
they could have
conversation-
been out
No,
within
Uncle,
5
That
years.
conversation should
Yeah.
end. The conversation should end right there. That's supposed to be. If
You-
we as a nation don't
If-
understand that it is our vote that have those people there.
Right.
If we don't get that we are responsible for their condition.
When the election bell rings, what happens?
Everything goes to zero.
Everything people forget all
People
about.
forget everything. Road paving, nice lights, music.
I want to ask you a question, but everybody else can answer. Are there any people in the parliament, anybody, that you think really is a leader?
Yeah.
I'm trying to ask this hour.
No,
Yeah, the
anybody.
speaker. I'm just
There's
teasing.
a leader, there's a different
Just
leader
teasing.
and dictator.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real.
yeah.
But look at the quality.
I'm just
Look at
teasing.
the quality.
I mean-
look at the quality of what is. It is
Legit,
getting
boy.
worse every time.
Phillip.
But look at the quality on both
All right,
sides. eh.
Phillip,
Look
we
at
have a
Phillip,
man.
let me tell you something. Socrates had, in those days, Socrates, he said, if you have an election, right, and you have two people going through election, one a serious doctor who inflicts pain on you but makes you well, but he inflicts pain, right? And then you have somebody who sells sweets, right? And whenever you go by him, you get sweets to eat and drink. Let me say donuts, sweets. And you have the doctor who, when you go by him, he inflicts pain on you.
Mm.
Okay?
But you get well.
But you get better.
And the sweet's killing you.
Both of them going for elections, right? People will gravitate and
Sweet
put the
man.
sweet person in charge because they like him.
So
All-
just
all
make
of
a
that-
note, we
all-
get into the sweets business.
All of that killing you.
All they
Well,
get it.
All of that killing you.
But the other thing,
Hey,
talking about
And you
talking
end up
about
with the same
leader.
doctor together.
Talking
Together
about
with
leader, we have a man who was the legal advisor, I think, to the Ministry of Works and Transport in the first term, who now holds the post of Public Utilities Minister, who sit down in our conversations with the Prime Minister and tell the audience and the rest of Trinidad and Tobago that is only when he became Public Utilities Minister that he realized
Get
that
it.
when a pipe have a leak, the leak does cause the pressure to drop and people cannot get water because the pipe going
only
the
when he
water
became
go up.
minister. It's only when he became minister.
Only when he became minister he realized that a leak does cause the pressure to go down.
I have a better one.
He
I have a
never
better
had a
one. I have
hole
a
in the
better one.
Peter.
yard yet.
Be that.
I wish I could get the film. I would share it regular.
Beat that.
Gerald Hines talking to him.
Oh gosh.
When he went
Sorry.
to
Yeah.
Gerald
Yes,
Hines
if
was
it's
talking to
Gerald
him.
Hines, you beat
You
that
know you
already.
lost already.
Yeah,
When
lost
we
already,
tell
lost
her,
already.
he was like a child Christmas
already.
morning when he was talking about when he was in London, and every time he turned on the tap, there was water. It's like it was a surprise, and he couldn't believe that every time the man was so demonstrative and excited. You could see the sparkle in his eyes that there was water in the tap
Who
every
is the
time.
dumbest politician in every country right now?
But for now, you can let Mr. Gerald Hines hold that. They want that title.
Dumb or useless?
No, but look, the man. You are a police commissioner who went up Rich Plain and declared war with
With the
zero,
whole
but with zero information that today we find out he was totally wrong.
he was
Misguided.
misled by the
He missed- he
officers.
missed his target
I
by-
like that word. I prefer that word. He was
Misguided.
misguided.
He was misguided,
He was
misled. He was,
misled. I think they should fire him and all who misled him.
but he's
Because
not
you-
he's not the man in charge.
including the minister national
But
security.
that is the man that's supposed to be calling for this today. If
Yeah.
you lost confidence in Gary, and I don't defend Gary here, but if you lost confidence in Gary for Old Talk and Bayside, you have a commissioner of police that unleash the police on Rich Plain, kick down mosque door and all kind of
Yeah,
things.
they went into the
People
people
could have
mosque,
said,
yeah.
if the public didn't stand up and say, hey, we're not siding with this fellow who could be a criminal and could be a killer, but let me get some due process now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get some due process.
But now that it come out,
Due
now
process,
that it come out that the officers misled and however they want to term it, right? The people in the community that was
Terrorized.
That the police
Terrorized.
terrorized during that exercise.
They deserve some money.
But how you mean?
They
They're
deserve
supposed
some
to
money.
get compensation.
Wait. You know what I'm not accepting with this misled nonsense? Even if they lie to you, you using your common sense, saying we have to get the truth before, you gone down there and declare war.
Yeah.
You declare war with misinformation, that worse.
He take the officer's word
No, but that worse. If you think
And the
about
story
it,
for
if
the-
you think about it,
for the truth.
that is even worse.
You didn't second
That
guess it,
people could sell you a bag of goods and you go on with that.
All right, Gary. I mean, I'm going to Gary. Hear this. Don't Gary. What I'm saying, when you have attrition upper ranks by seniority and not meritocracy, which happens in the police service, public service, that is what you get. However, Gary Griffith was a person, I remember Gary. I know Gary. Gary was a person who came out of the army, private sector, whatever it is, security system, and was changing the dynamics of the
He had
police
something to
service.
prove.
Yeah.
Not to only prove, he had the intelligence to do it.
Yes,
And
yes,
very well qualified
yes,
to do it.
yes,
Qualified
yes.
to do it.
Very well
But you
But he
don't
did
know that
not
about
come up-
McDonald, Jacob.
Very
I mean, you
qualified.
look at everybody on paper.
I am just talking about Gary, about the intelligence he had to do it, right? And the thing about it, when you come up the ranks with by here am I, give my promotion now. I remember as MP for the last 25 years. Anytime there's promotion in police service, I would get a whole set of people. Why I want a promotion of the word, give my letter now. And you have to ask yourself, how does the police system and how the system go promotion up inside? You get the product, what you bring up, seniority.
Exactly.
If
Remember
you
the
have-
man?
If you have meritocracy and somebody has amount of charges, amount of this, amount of that. There was a guy I remember long ago, he was an extremely good policeman in Santa Cruz. Never could go nowhere. But he was the best thing. When I was a DMO, he was the best thing inside there. He's never gotten promoted. I couldn't figure out why. But how the attrition goes up, who you know, who you interview, them kind of
Yeah,
things.
remember
But-
meritocracy.
but-
We ended up with Johnny Abraham as a commissioner a long
But-
time ago.
but it's
Exactly. But what I'm saying, Gary Griffith changed the system where somebody from outside came in as contract, right?
Mhm.
Now they've passed a law like what they
Can't
did to
have-
Minchell.
and
They
that
did to
was-
Minchell. Remember Minchell with Tantan and Sagaboy?
Mm.
How beautiful it was in the savannah. They made a law stating that a mascot could only be so high and so much and so more. They've now passed a law where you could never get a Gary Griffith coming into the
Never.
police service.
Can't.
You can't
So you're not going to get no Iwaski and Iwaski and
No,
So
he
he can't
No,
reapply.
yeah,
That's
But the
Yeah.
beauty of writing
I saw-
a law.
There was a little article about that Gary should reapply. Even
I
though
see a
I
big
saw
thing
that on
on Sunshine.
Facebook.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
that
the
on
Sunshine,
I
but
see
can
that
he
on
reapply?
social media
They
too.
change the system so that is not going to happen.
Okay, but the beauty of writing a law is that you can write a new law. Everything is a law.
It's not a law, it's a policy.
But if it was Gary Griffith, you'd have reapplied.
Yeah,
I would.
I would keep
Drop
showing.
salt in the wound.
I would keep showing that this is political spite and not leadership.
Yes.
Even if they're going to refuse you, I would keep showing. Because Gary is supported extensively. Even people who don't like Gary as commissioner of police because
Yeah.
you sleep better at night.
Phillip, if we reapply, one to NTA,
That's, yeah. We're going on with NTA.
we're going to NTA if we reapply.
Nicole go on it.
I just asking, you know.
I have no information. And I am the one that Gary will call and cuss on the phone.
Oh, God.
I
Gary
am
go
the
cost
one.
all of you.
No, it
Gary
must be.
Gary was 11 on my phone right
The
now.
question arises because I know, I mean, NTA is a political move now, and you know, so how the two.
Listen, he
I-
was
I
badly
have
advised.
absolutely no
If
idea.
anybody was badly advised and misspent their potential politically, it is Gary Griffith.
Why is that?
Because they tried to do too much too fast, believing that I don't know what they were believing. I don't know if they believed. They have a politician who keep telling people she come to Trinidad in 3 weeks. Like they believe 1 million people will come to the airport and pick you up on their shoulders and bring you into Port of Spain and make you prime minister. No, come
That
on.
is that deputy
Yeah,
political
deputy
leader of our
I
party.
apologize, but no, but
Yes,
seriously,
I'm-
what did you think was going to happen when they launched NTA? Everybody come out of the house? I can tell you as somebody who hearing talking third party business too long, but standing up outside here and billing and working on this every single day. You all know, real politics is a verb. It is work.
It's plenty work.
It is plenty
work.
And money.
Hard work.
And
Billing
cost.
the Congress and the people
Hard
don't
work.
understand. People don't understand. But Gary was there, and I don't know what they was telling him because That's your partners and them with the treasure chest of money.
You know about that's what treasure somebody?
I don't know who you're talking about.
What's that?
You know about that treasure somebody?
I don't know who you're talking about.
What's him there?
Is that a smile, yes?
What's him?
What?
But seriously, this is what irks me. That there are so many good people with good hearts in this country, and that will never rise to the top.
It won't rise.
Yeah.
The system disallows it.
Yeah.
People who really care about country.
Because the
Crime-
people who normally
crime
get the
pays.
job are not necessarily right people for the job.
Exactly, all
Crime
the time.
pays in Trinidad, yes or no?
Most of the people who sit on the board
Absolutely.
and, you know,
Crime pays
Crime
in
pays
Trinidad,
in
yes or
Trinidad.
no?
well, crime pays all over the world.
Crime pays in Trinidad. You're in Trinidad. Don't duck the question. You're in Trinidad. Crime pays in Trinidad. I have documents. I don't want to follow this so close to crime, but I have documents from the Ministry of Agriculture that none of the 18 signs in Wildflower Park legal. I have put that in the public space.
Have the signs been taken down?
The Commissioner of Police is aware. The head of the Horticultural Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture is aware, whose office is across the road. Because they had to provide the information, the permanent secretary, to answer in the first place. And the signs are still there. So now we know the signs are illegal and they're still there.
But as you already
Now we know that the warning, pesticides to kill you, is nonsense. Because we have all of the names of all the pesticides that are used in the schedule and who's authorized. So we know it's all foolish talk. They are still there.
So the question is, what next?
When we were at Paria, what was driving me mad was that there were people in the pipe. We
I
weren't
know.
we weren't doing
And they locked it
anything.
up.
Yeah.
Phillip,
We weren't doing anything.
not a lot of people go down and do either.
That's that when you really think of that,
That
man.
was,
I mean,
that was really an
if
atrocity.
people really sit down and think about that,
Yeah,
you
that
just
was
think
an
about that for a
atrocity.
second.
Mhm.
If
You
ever
have men trapping up.
You remember.
Under
They
oath.
can't
remember the
come out.
schoolboys.
And everybody
You
above
remember-
land will
just I just
see.
want to say this one thing, and you're giving me this too, small boy.
Just waiting
You see how you
to
just
hear
phrased
that they
that?
died.
You see how he just phrased this here? It was. Because when Boudran came out, he told them,
Yes.
The next man right
behind me.
behind,
Man right there.
Right behind.
so it wasn't speculation.
No.
You were supposed to strap a man and send him down that fight one time.
And those guys wanted to go back in
Give me
there.
a schoolboy story.
Remember the schoolboys in Thailand or somewhere there? I can't remember.
Yes. When they
When
were
they-
lost,
yeah,
they lost
yeah,
and when the
yeah.
water came.
And they had to come back again.
Yeah.
And then he mined people in
In
Chile.
Chile, when they had to
Look what they had to
specially
do.
invent.
So what the hell?
We could have done it.
Our
We could have
problem
seen
is-
it.
And what
our
they-
problem is
you know what get me
we
vexed
so
with this one?
critically
Yeah,
thinking
we
Trinidad
vexed
at
with
all.
this They went and they sealed the pipe.
Yeah, they
Just
seal it
suppose
on
I'm
top of
mad.
that, they
That
seal
is
it.
Just suppose a man get the strength
To climb up to
to
the
reach
climb up.
out
Can't
there.
come
Oh
out.
my God, you
Can't
kill
come
him.
And
You
you
lock them
You
inside
kill
there.
him, but you kill him.
You can understand that feeling?
Listen, the feeling that Trinidadians have to have from barrier, all this commission inquiry and all of that,
No bullshit. You
Very
know.
rubbish.
what you
Nonsense.
have to know is all of the systems that you think that will come to right to your rescue don't exist.
Don't
the
exist.
opposite,
They
the
don't
opposite exists. You in a pipe where you know that a man just leave the pipe
And
with
to
information
get
that
help.
you are here
Right there.
and you are alive.
And
And
you
they
waited
seal the
And they seal
for
the pipe.
26 hours. They say, I mean,
But Philip, we're living in a land where even there's a commission of inquiry, some men could say, I ain't coming in.
Yeah, you're not obligated to.
You
That
gotta
is
know-
the nonsense
And
of it.
even
That's happening before.
if
And
we
you
come,
find $2,000.
your charge for not attending
That's
is
right.
$2,000.
yeah,
That's happened.
but even
So
if
this commission of inquiry is a way to evade responsibility.
That's
Exactly.
Somebody should be charged for manslaughter
When the report
and
from
depraved
Paria.
indifference for human
because
life.
even when it is finished, nothing happens
comes out of,
anyway.
nothing comes out of it.
Have no
Nothing
report. You can't tell
It's
me
like-
that
They are
something like
letting
that
anything-
happened.
They're letting anything get stale.
And we don't have,
He
you don't
just-
have no
He
report.
just talked about Chile and he just talked about Cambodia. I want to tell you something. A man, 108 years old, just get jailed for his role
the war crimes.
in war crimes.
War crimes.
Jail him. So he's 108.
But you get jail.
The jail.
Spend your last days.
The world makes sense. Trinidad doesn't.
It doesn't.
Trinidad doesn't make
You know,
sense.
I know that there's a Dr. Seuss book and a picture as well. It sounds crazy, eh? It's called Horton Hears a Who. Horton was an elephant and he was hearing this noise. And when you check on top of a flower, the little petal of the flower, right? There was a whole colony on top of the petal of the flower called the Who's. WHO. apostrophe S. And Horton heard them and eventually was listening. Trinidad is the whole. The world is where Horton was. We feel our world is our world. We alone are the world. And if you look, it's a deep comic and a deep thing.
Let me tell you something. 128,500 people physically signed a petition asking the government to change the way you get license plates on vehicles, so that people can't just change their age and kidnap your daughter and take she up in Haribo. Right? They asked for pepper spray.
Regulating the pH.
The pH system. The pH taxi is willing to be regulated. Most
That
of
was
them
Jack
can't
David?
get a.
No, I want to come to something there. When I went out of ministry, we had a police meeting.
Yeah.
I stood up in the police meeting and they had all the big fellows with brass something on their shoulders, and I told them, let us register each PH person in the police station closest to them. You give them a sticker.
good idea.
You give them a sticker like a bus route pass,
Yeah.
and you have their picture in it, and they must put it on the car at all times. Police could charge you if you don't. And if somebody goes into the car, if you're running a PH, the person going into the car, woman or whoever it is allowed to take a picture of the driver and send it to a friend.
Oh, you have a barcode?
Have a barcode.
No, or send it to a friend.
QR code, he talking
QR code, yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
And send it to a
That
friend.
exists.
Yeah,
Hear
that
what the
exists.
man
I want
said.
you, you know how
No, let me come to it. I couldn't believe it. The senior police officers tell me, PH is illegal. What are you talking here? I said there's something called Uber. Uber in the States.
we black Uber.
You know?
No, I said there's some. This was before Uber came. I said there was something called Uber in the States. We could use the same system.
Yeah.
And people could call it. He said, "Boy, what's wrong with you? Police is illegal." And I said, "But how many people have you held for bribing PH?"
And the
None.
challenge is, you see what you say
You
there?
hear that?
And
That
police-
is symptomatic.
Stephen,
That's
Stephen,
like,
but we hear the last part he say. The police that insisted that they can't work with the PH because they're illegal.
Yeah.
Never charge
They never
nobody.
charge nobody.
and that's
In
the
fact,
problem.
I
That's the
think
problem
there's
you
a-
have here.
Because the
There's a
Uber
question in
system-
Parliament when I
Nobody's thinking.
brought Rohan Sinanan, Ministry of Works and Transport.
And the people you
And the
think
question
who are
was
in
this.
office, who should be thinking,
Are PH drivers in this country
they're
illegal?
unable to think.
He said no. I said, how many have been charged? He can't answer. I said, so why do you not register
Regulate
the
them.
PH drivers as the same system I was talking about?
Yeah.
I was in opposition. He said PH is illegal.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
A situation occurred when I was MP.
But just somebody just to ask people who don't understand government branch and don't understand what the parliament is for. The parliament can write
Exactly.
into legality.
No, but he's
Exactly.
No,
But the
Rohan
parliament can write.
Rohan was correct in what he said. What I'm saying to the answers why we can't go anywhere is because of the system and the systematic. You want to tell me that the police can, by policy, and ask Gary if I could put a policy in place to do that. Same way you say they could do things with the foreign.
Well,
Yeah.
well, no, but I just want to say this to you, right? What they're going to say is that certain decisions that you make going to affect things like the insurance in the vehicle, and if they get in an accident, liability, and the person in the car, and all of that.
All that
So
could
you
fix.
have to-
All that could
that
fix.
could
that
fix.
Them
It
things
cannot
could fix
fix at the
easy.
level of the police station.
Well,
But
no,
you could fix.
but you
You
can
could
start
fix.
it.
But
You
you
can
could
start
start the
Phillip,
process.
look at something on the North Coast. I was MP. One bus in the morning, one in the evening. Okay? But people are traversing all the time. So you have white buses, maxi buses.
Fill in the
Filling
space.
bus,
Fill in the
filling-
space.
So they came to me and I said, look, we want to be regularized. Okay?
Mhm.
I went to the authorities. I went to Ministry of Transport and everything. And let me tell you something. They couldn't come up with a solution
Wow.
to regularize these people who are working all day from George Street to Maracas.
That's
Let
Listen
me
to me carefully.
let
And listen to this. But they get a ticket. So when they pull up on George Street, this ticket. In Marval, Saddle Road, when they're swinging off to go up, police on Santa Cruz, ticket. I had to go to the senior super and say, how you expect
And now
people to go
demerits.
home?
And now demerits.
Now it's demerit, yeah.
So you get enough ticket and you can't
But
drive.
but the issue
And
the-
without that,
so-
people can't get home.
So the thing is that the people that work in these routes, right, as PH, they don't mind being regularized.
They,
The
they
problem
want,
is
they
not-
want to be
The
regular.
problem is
want
not
to
them
be-
fighting
We
They
had
want to be
to
regularized.
become part
They
of a
want
proper
to be-
system.
they want to be-
we actually had an interview before the lockdown
Mhm.
with the head of the PH and the head of the taxi association, and they were
They
willing
want
to
to be
work
recognized.
together.
Yeah, they want to be
And the
recognized.
problem you're
They
telling
wanted
me,
to work
so hold
together.
on. You're telling me the problem is not the PH drivers.
No.
The problem
The
is
system.
the
system.
system
That's the
cannot
biggest
find a
problem.
Guys,
solution.
Yeah, that's the
hear
biggest
me
problem.
out, hear me out.
Apathy.
You know the problem in Trinidad and Tobago, as a management expert, the problem in Trinidad and Tobago is one, the people who are paid to think, they are unable to think.
The advisors.
And the other thing is that
When 95
Cut out
exactly.
Hey, timestamp that, because I want to share that the people who are paid to think
Unable to think.
Correct.
The problem is, if we are 1.3 million or 4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago,
Thereabouts, yeah.
I always say we have companies in this world with more employees than
Than
we
this
have
country.
citizens.
Yeah.
And they have systems, they call them HRIS system, where they know everything. They know everything about those employees at any part of the world where they are, how much they are paid, everything. We could simply digitize this economy. Digitize everything. We work in silos with everything. I mean,
Nothing is
it
interactive.
really, the
nothing.
kind of money we have in this
You mind if I
country.
tell you why? You mind if I tell you why?
But
If it's digitalized and computerized,
You can't
you
even.
had
Can't
to-
thief.
You
Yeah,
can't
can't
thief.
thief.
And
Harder
I'm
to thief.
waiting for you to stop talking to
But
tell
a
you
Trini
that.
will find a way.
You
But
think-
I must say,
A Trini
I
will
just
find a
want to-
way.
I want to tell you this. I would like you to include this in the timestamp. You think that they can't think. They are paid to
Not to
think
think.
contrary,
To what
so
you think.
that when we were talking before the show starts, if Trinidad really captured, held, treated, and distributed the water that falls from the sky for free,
Boy.
$500 million in desalination wouldn't get paid. If we did that,
Tank
you know,
and-
water tank can sell,
Yeah.
water pump can
Pump
sell,
can
bottled
That's
water
right.
can sell,
That's right.
hundreds of millions of dollars in truck water, because they tell you all water for free, but people paying $600 for a truckload of water.
Yes.
And you call Wassa for your truckload of water, your tank empty, and they tell you you're down for Wednesday, today's Monday, and you have everything in the house stink and the toilets can't flush. You call in people and pay the $600 because your family had to. You understand what I'm saying?
Because crime pays in Trinidad.
No,
It's
but
a
Philip,
crime that
Philip,
people
how long
should
we trying to
gamble
how long we trying to computerize the license office? Ask yourself.
We reached
how-
there
how-
yet?
How long?
The new license office was built for that.
What about
To
what
be
about
the-
what,
to be
what,
the-
what about the RFID devices on the
On the license plate.
You understand?
Yeah, we talking that
You
for years.
understand? Simple.
but
you
I must
drive
say
down.
though-
You drive down.
Yeah,
the-
talking
you know,
about it.
in Miami
But-
anyway. There.
But Philip, I must
Everything is.
say, they've done some work on the inspection bays. When you go to inspect your vehicle now,
Mhm.
a private inspection bay, the system has changed. When you drive in and they check everything, before you leave, they have a camera on like a laptop that they come and snap your vehicle with a sticker,
Mhm.
and that is sent immediately to licensing office.
Yeah.
So if you fail the inspection at that local inspection bay, you cannot go anywhere else.
Okay.
It will pop up.
It will pop up.
Your number, everything will pop up that you failed inspection. So
But
and so.
again, even so,
That's one thing I
but that is a
reckon
revenue
that. That was
generator.
nice. That was
And they
nice.
could have
Those,
re-
those
they
things
could have-
are funny.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
anything
funny.
that generates, but look at
But that
this.
wasn't bad.
Look at this.
That wasn't
look at
bad.
this. Look
Because
at
that's
this. The
good.
plastic container bill
Yes.
that exists past in the parliament,
Hmm.
just waiting to be assented. Trinidad and Tobago doesn't
But
understand.
what about the recycling?
But exactly, bring all of that together. Trinidad doesn't understand that this. If you put a 25 cents refund on this,
You get back your money.
people will drop the height of the dump by about
Yes,
15 feet
100%.
in plastic bottles.
100%.
All the people who are unemployable, all the indigent, all the
They will go for this.
they will go and pick this up.
But Philip,
You will start yourself a business. You will be able to buy a van and a truck, because look at how very lazy they
What
are
in the
recycling
last-
metal. You try to tell me if you
Philip,
pay a man a 25 cents a
in the
bottle.
last part of our when we are in office, we had systems in CPEP that were going to do exactly
that's
that.
right. That's right.
The van, people were buying vans and whatever it is to pick up bottles in the country.
Yeah, it would be a
But
collection
it
base.
didn't go through
It-
because
it
we came out of office.
Oh, they come out of it.
But it wasn't it Rowley who said that if the nothing wrong with the rich getting richer
But
because
it's
they
So we have to encourage the rich
But
to
it's
get
not-
richer
no,
so the poor
I-
could get
I-
jobs.
That is
I
that
agree
is
with that.
trickle down
They
economics.
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
the economy.
That is
But-
all right.
but-
That is
but-
okay, but it can't be
But there's the next
exclusive.
problem.
I-
There's the next problem.
He didn't make a
And,
lot.
and Dr. Khan now said, you had a plan in place, unfortunately it didn't go through as it relates to,
Yeah.
because all they come out of.
No continuity.
That's no continuity.
continuity.
All right, Stephan.
None.
Stephan, let me throw something out now.
It's like, that is their
Because I think
idea.
about
We
this
don't
one.
want that. They will get to, you know?
I wanted to get the records in the hospital in sync with the people, and then start a national health insurance system and put in the foundation.
Right.
The only way I could have done that is say, wait, people had to be registered, right?
Yes.
I had the whole CDAP constituency, right? And I said, there's 300,000 people there. So what I did, I started the health card on CDAP.
Okay.
And the health card was working nice because
Yes.
anywhere you go in the hospital,
Yes.
anywhere you
It
go
was
in the country,
working. It was working.
when you scan the credit card, they say, hey, but you get drugs already.
Yes.
You can't get no more. Through every single pharmacy, 275 pharmacies. From that was going to be the HIV drugs and the,
That's
and,
right.
and the cancer drugs, with the different left, right, and
That's
center
right.
in this place. From that was going to be lab work. From that was going to be doctor office. And then when you go to the hospital, you skate your card and all your system, you only need medical record.
All the information.
Right. As soon as they went into the office, they stopped it.
But so okay, let me piggyback on that. You were dealing with health, and at one time in the office of the Prime Minister, I was responsible for dealing with the HIV situation in Trinidad and Tobago. So here what happened? We were piggybacking on.
You need wrong intro.
Wait a minute, we were piggybacking on Ministry of Health situation for
Uh-huh.
HIV. So what we were doing, UE came up with a system, computerized system, for us to be able to map Trinidad and Tobago when HIV was a real issue. They created
It's
a
still big, you
software. And let me tell you something. What we were doing, piggybacking on them, we were going to employ OJTs into the system. And OJTs would use people's ID card as a reference number. Okay? Now, this is a separate situation because we recognize that if you live in Rich Plain, you go in San Fernando for a test. You may prove positive in South. And South shows up as a, woo, to have 20 people there test positive in South, but 3/4 of those people live in East, all over the place. But your ID card will map you out. It will give you an idea where the person lives, that kind of situation. And all
So
of that.
regardless of where you test positive,
Yes.
you will come up
You
in
could
your
just-
Where you live
So
in,
here
yeah.
now.
Demographic.
Yeah.
Watch me. Everything was set in place to implement that. Government change. I was
But he
speaking
just
to
said-
people. Everything
But
crashed.
he just said, and it's an important issue.
Everything
But he
crashed.
just said it is an important issue. That is the reason we have permanent secretaries. We're supposed to have
Everything
continuity.
No.
Everything goes.
No. You go into government and you leave government, next government comes in. Permanent secretary will
We
say,
bounce up the same permanent secretary.
no.
No,
The permanent secretary will bring all the dossiers
Yeah,
to the minister. It happened to me.
they don't want that.
It happened to me when I went as a minister. They brought all the dossiers of what programs are going on and that kind of thing. And you could determine what you want to do as a minister. You could determine.
Hey, to tell,
And
But
then-
I just want to say,
and
but
then-
you know why they wasn't picking is because certain people, when you read a file, you realize this whole project set up because it's a contract for Charlie and Freddie and Mary.
Or
whose finances-
it's at a stage where I can't make no money again.
watch me. Let me tell you something. Everything crime pays. And crime shows
Especially
itself in so
Trinidad.
many different forms. When I took office, HIV was a big thing. You had all kind of advocacy going.
Right.
So I decided, something, we need to understand who is doing what, where, why, and how. So I wrote letters to every organization, NGO who is dealing with HIV to please come and re-register with the Office of the Prime Minister so we can keep a check on you, what you're doing. Because we found that on the same street, you have 10 advocacy groups doing things for people on the same streets. And when you check people don't know nothing about that. You have 4 advocacy groups
Overlap and no.
with the same address. Out of the same address.
Yeah.
And when you check, the address is a cow pen. And so, and when
But
we
we're
check,
not talking about Marlene McDonald.
No.
No. We ain't
check
talking about
all
that.
of those
What's
things,
the fella named Kareem?
and we ask people to come and register themselves and bring their documents to the Office of the Prime Minister. Let me tell you something. The 3,000-5,000 boil down to less than 100.
Boss man, I read something.
People tell me that since they got HIV, their life escalated, because you had people accessing grants from abroad and yeah, because
It's a
they
lucrative
form a little
No,
a
very
little NGO and
That
travel.
money that I don't want.
That
Watch me, that
don't
was
want.
a
You know why? You
lucrative
think HIV
business.
is
No.
HIV is a payday.
It's not
That
HIV
was a
people.
lucrative
No, but not
business.
HIV. Is the
Advocacy.
Oh, okay.
Advocacy.
But I want to tell you, I
Hundreds
read
of
something.
millions
I read something in the
Seriously?
papers.
What?
Paula Gopi
Hundreds of
School, you read that in the
millions of
papers?
Are you in the wrong business?
Paula Gopi School in the papers yesterday saying that we will have a law for the licensing of children's home March next year. And the first question I ask is, why would it take almost a year to write a law?
It does take a long time.
But the second question that dawned on me was, 59 years? We have nothing in place? 59
We
years?
still have 3 dams.
Oh, Lord.
Let me tell you
Oh,
something.
yes.
Let me
We was
tell you-
talking that, we was talking that before we
Parliament,
went, yeah.
Parliament is called once a week for a whatever house. And they go on recess for like a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, so
July
in that
till-
1 week, right? Sometimes you do one bill, or half a bill, or a quarter of a bill, because it's adjourned to another time.
Yeah.
So you could end up doing a month of Parliament and not even pass a bill yet.
And then you have white paper, yeah.
But I want to ask this question. We could change that. We
And
could separate the legislature from the executive. We could say members of parliament are only business with your constituency and with passing law. So that we will sit 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, you be in your constituency and we will clear up the people's business. That could be done.
It could be done.
Anybody here know constitutional what the role of MPs? What does the Constitution say?
In Trinidad and Tobago,
Yeah, what the Constitution says.
it doesn't
What does the
define.
Constitution
I don't
say?
know.
It doesn't define what the role
It
of
does
the
not define
It
it.
doesn't define. And
It
you have to,
defines
and
what local government and all that.
even if you go and
Not
look
an
in
MP.
representation of the People's Act, you're not finding what a member of parliament is. Members of
What is he
parliament
responsible for?
don't know what their
He's
job
he's
is.
supposed to sit in the
But,
parliament
but,
and
but,
pass
but,
legislation.
but he's a legislator.
Yeah, he's
That
a
is the
legislator.
majority.
He's a legislator.
But he is also the chief representative of his constituency.
But let's ask a question. Let's be big and ask questions. You have a copy of the Constitution?
I
You have a
have
copy of the
I do.
Constitution?
I
have
have
an
Let me
electronic
tell you,
copy.
The average
Yeah.
citizen
Don't read it.
don't know what the Constitution says.
I mean,
You
As
said
a matter of
that.
fact,
said
we
that
don't even teach it at our secondary
We
school
don't
level.
teach it in school.
We're supposed to have
But
that as
man,
part
That,
of
and,
the
I, and, I, and, I,
went to
and I
school.
said 2 weeks ago on that same point, I said the same thing. And I said that is why people put up with the amount of nonsense that
We don't have
they
civics
put up
in,
with.
and
you
not
have
only
civics in
from-
school
from-
again.
not
And
only
Dr.
that,
Khan,
from politicians.
If you have to
So what
become a
else?
citizen
You
you
read
don't have
of the United
civics. You
States,
have
Yeah.
civics.
you have to go
You
to
don't
school
have that
now.
again.
So
Yeah,
you
but-
have to-
yeah,
you have-
yeah,
you have-
yeah,
you
yeah,
have-
but
What
they
the
know-
hell?
I mentioned
yeah, but
that
they-
too.
yeah, but they know-
But
they know
Roger-
more than the actual citizens. But what I said,
Right.
when you was in school, you remember when they gave the red kidney bean and the piece of toilet paper and it was wet and it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
yeah,
bro?
yeah.
How
Yes.
come we didn't learn how to plant it after that and
No,
make
no,
a
no, we
tree?
show it away.
How come we
You
didn't?
throw it away.
We
We
threw it
throw it
away.
away. And
Oh,
it's from up, you know.
Yeah.
You feel good. It's proud.
But
But-
if a man wants to be a citizen of Trinidad and
Boss,
Tobago
I'm
now, he
asking
applies. He do have to know
But asking you a
Trinidad and
question,
Tobago.
if we teaching children things in school and telling them mad, because people saying, I'm looking forward to trigonometry season to use the trigonometry that I learned in school. How come we didn't teach them how to plant this red kidney bean that your mates proud? How come the school doesn't
They
have
have a
a garden that children...
We had a guy.
Remember for
I,
it?
I,
Yeah,
when I
for
went to school, in
Yeah,
San
I
Juan,
know,
we
I
had a
know.
guy.
We had an outside garden. We had to do gardening.
But
Everybody had to
you,
do
It should
you
be
remember
part
for it?
of
Mhm.
every school. People should be taught basic things. I'm not lying.
To live.
Teach people how to start a fire.
Yeah.
So why
How to
don't we?
start a fire.
So why?
First time you
Phillip.
start a fire, did you know how to start a fire?
Philip, what about teaching young people finance?
Exactly.
Hey.
Budgeting.
Insurance, mortgaging, learn how to, why not teach them how to entrepreneurship from start? Brian Lara became the best batsman in the world. You know why? He was talented and he started at the age of 4. His father is a driving
Harvard.
doctor to Harvard,
Harvard.
right? And when he got older, he stayed by different people, Willie Rodriguez and them. But Brian started at the age of 4 to learn to bat. If we start our children
But
at the age
Fuad,
of...
But boss
But
man, I
Fuad.
watched Peter Minchell in an interview
Yeah.
where he was talking this, and they had I remember, boy, this was years ago. They had this panel, and this panel talked so much sense in this panel. I said, but Trinidad is not a lost cause, because Peter Minchell was talking. Why are we not teaching things like dance in
Yes.
school?
Yes.
We have Trinidad and Tobago have this misconstrued version of what a human being is, our education system. When you send children through it, and I say the best thing that happened to us is with COVID.
It's just,
Since then I was-
it's just
No, no,
machines.
go ahead, man.
Was bigging it up.
Yeah.
Was that we get locked down?
Yeah, let them know.
You're uploading.
Yeah, let them know. Let them know. Yeah, let them. No, but do we?
But
Okay.
we got the lockdown, and you know what the lockdown did? The lockdown gave us a small chance to reset how we do.
Yeah, but did we?
We didn't. We didn't.
We did.
Nah.
Look at how they're fighting to get businesses back in offices. Plenty people have learned that they could operate from home, that we could.
It's
Yeah,
more
but
economical,
yeah,
but,
but
but,
it's
yeah,
not
but we
economy.
didn't reset. I'll tell you why we didn't reset. We didn't reset
Our
because
thinking
a large portion of children didn't have access
to computers.
to
and-
computer,
yeah.
Wi-Fi. Because remember they cut.
And
one of
that
the
was
first thing-
one of the things he got. You see,
The first thing this administration do was remove laptop, the laptop program. They killed that
They
dead.
didn't have
Right?
laptops.
No, but I
Nobody could
disagree,
tablet
So,
something.
I
Internet
disagree.
should have
I
been
think
free in certain
the
communities.
major
Oh, so this is
problem,
2022 and we don't have island-wide Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
It's not.
Philip,
Yeah.
the major issue was that our education system was not geared towards that kind of distance learning situation.
Our
Let me
education,
tell you what happened.
our education
Let me
system,
tell you
our
what
education
happened.
system.
No, no. So hear what happened.
Our education system is not even get the critical thinking.
Let me tell you something.
Oh,
I am sitting down home
He's saying that
watching
politely.
my grandchild sitting down in front of the computer.
Mhm.
Class going on. Next screen open. 2 screens open. Teacher feeling they paying attention. She playing games with her.
Exactly.
Next screen open. And not only that, the attention. Remember, we are part of a system where we grew up in in-house school.
Right.
To focus on the outside of that by yourself is a different situation. Even as an adult. I mean, I did degree programs where at distance learning, at home, you studying on your own.
You know,
listen
this is
to
why
it.
I
That's
like
hard,
this is
you know.
like why I like in the Norwegian system,
I-
the Singapore system, and the
I
Korean
remember,
system.
listen,
Finland have the highest standard of
and
education
the
in the
Finland
world.
system.
And that is, they don't have
Highest.
homework.
This-
They don't separate
Exactly.
children.
No,
They don't
I
separate
remember
children.
asking.
People go to
I
school in
remember
their
asking
area.
several
When
So
children
they have no
for online classes.
No, no, no,
prestige
no,
school and all that kind of
Nine
stuff.
hundred and
When
seventy-nine.
my little daughter,
It-
my little daughter, she was
They bored.
she was get O
Yeah,
levels,
yeah, the
right?
board.
The problem.
Yeah,
board.
to sit down in
I
front
say, you know
of that screen
something?
is terrible
Let me try a
concentration.
different system. And I took up and I said, okay, you're going down to the American school ISPS instead of doing A levels. When I looked at the American system, that she spent 2 years in, the American system is exactly what you just said there. No homework, no this, but her mind became so expanded
Yeah.
to the
Exactly.
point of that
They
I
teach
could
you to
not believe it.
critically think.
But
Critically
Japan,
think.
Critically
Japan, the first
think.
5 years
I
of a
begged
child life,
them
you
when I was in
learn.
government to
Mhm.
change it to that.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
but so
the
I'm
people
saying,
think,
okay, so I'm
man.
saying, all right, so I'm saying this because
All this
people-
with that bag of books on the
But-
back
but-
and all that kind of
but
These
That's
nonsense.
children,
because-
giving
no,
children
no,
scoliosis.
That's
Because
because
what you really doing, you
education-
really fattening the pockets of a
The education.
maker or
Okay, what
somebody.
is
you know,
what is the
nonsense.
education system? What is the education system? Is our education system a system
You ready?
where
I'm about to tell you what
take
that is.
all
It's a
these
paper's
children,
exam
all
and
these
stuff.
children,
And create
and put them in the
employees.
same?
Create
Listen
employees.
to his
It is a
answer.
system.
Correct.
It
We
is
have
a system to
That was
contain
the-
your
that was
mind.
the
It's to contain your mind.
Prussian,
One
that was
hundred
the
percent
Prussian
correct.
school system
Because-
where the Prussians, which is Germans of those days in the Industrial Revolution,
Right.
they wanted
Employees.
who could listen,
Systematic
who could do
soul
system,
learning.
who did not argue,
Right.
who did not taste, who
Wouldn't-
did not say nothing wrong,
Yeah.
who would go straight.
Finland's
So-
That is
so
what we
Doc-
inherited in Trinidad.
Doc, you're so correct. Is the
My-
education system to answer your question is a system to contain you.
Right,
Yes,
because
yes.
how many? All right.
To
how
keep
many
it in a
people-
box.
How
And
many?
if you
How
talk
many
out the
children in
box,
school
you're
right
If
now?
you thought out
All
of the
of
box,
the bright people
You
you
ask them
know.
what they want to be.
They don't know.
They don't know.
No.
They don't know because they ain't figured it out
How-
yet. But in my day, I
And
wanted
you-
to be a lawyer. I didn't grow up to be that. You understand what I'm saying? It have people who, if you ask them when they're 15, 16 years old, going through secondary
But you
school,
shouldn't.
where you want, no, you ask them where you want to be, where you want to do when they come out of school, they will give you one
But-
answer, but they will never,
but
they will never move towards that. They're just telling you something
But-
that they
No,
hear
no,
their
no,
mother and their
Stephan,
father
no, no, no,
tell
no,
them they
Stephan,
want them to
No,
be.
Stephan, sometimes the children want to be X, but the parents
But
Can't
Stephan,
afford.
but
Right,
Stephan,
but hear my point.
Can't
push them in
afford.
why.
Right, but here's my point. Shouldn't our education system be based around what the individual
Yes.
is interested
But
in?
Stephan,
what they
okay,
love.
we're going
Let me just
somewhere.
answer that.
And
Let
what
me
they
just
love.
answer that. Let
We
me
are
answer
going
that.
somewhere.
Because what I always thought was insipid about our education system is forcing children who have no understanding of the real world to choose how they're going to live the rest of their lives.
that too.
There are a lot of people who come out of
Yeah.
university with a law degree, a medical
And they-
degree,
and
and
they
they
don't want to be
abandon it.
They didn't
Yeah.
want to do that.
But they didn't
No,
want it.
but
They didn't
Stephan-
want it. There has to be a way.
But the thought that would have been a way
No,
to
but-
get them out of a certain
No,
kind of
but what
lifestyle.
he is saying, and
So
what he's saying and what Fuad alluding to, is that there has to be a way to slipstream children into what they're predisposed to. Because think about it, if your fathers are well done, your grandfathers are well done, you grew up smelling that well done, You got chances are you want to be a welder too.
Yeah, but
People's names in society came from that, Cooper and Tanner and Smith. Those are professions.
and
those are
those
people-
were not slave names.
No. That was good.
No,
But early in education systems, there must be a system to assess whether children are.
You're going somewhere,
I'm
Doc.
glad-
You're going somewhere, Doc.
glad
you
Because in
Doc.
Trinidad we teach a
Skilled-
duck, a fish, a
skilled,
snake, a alligator,
Because
all
there
of us in the
are
same class.
children that are.
They actually fish. They say you're a fish.
There are children
I'm
that
a
are.
fish.
Yeah,
There are
I'm
children that are.
You understand?
Einstein said
unable.
that. Einstein.
So we
to
don't have
now
back.
early start
can't
at
be
3.
a fish.
Let me tell you where the
They would
problem
have
starts.
See that and now guide children in the direction
Let me
whether
tell
they
you where the
are
problem starts.
brain or skill.
Yeah,
problem
exactly.
starts.
So we send everybody
the
through
problem
brain
start-
to quarter them
Okay,
pay
problem-
because
listen.
I could fix something.
Yes.
The problem start, the whole collapse start from the SEA placement. You see that SEA exam
Yes,
and that
yes.
placement,
Stupidness.
Yeah.
it
Stupidness.
start right
But
here.
okay, but listen, you know what's the problem?
It's
in
not
Trinidad
right.
and Tobago?
Where are the tech box?
just-
Where are the
I just-
tech
That's
box?
what I talk about
Where are the
weeks
tech
ago.
box
That
schools
is
today?
where
Let me say-
we just
I-
teach children classism.
No, but
Where
That's where
are the tech box
classism
schools?
Let me say
starts.
this.
Exactly.
Where you go and learn
my
skill
whole
today?
adult life, I have
Nowhere.
heard people say that the SEA system needs to go, but we do not make it go away. We have enough seats in
No, no, we
education.
talking about that.
We
Phillip.
could purpose build. We
Just
could
zone
purpose
schools,
build.
just
Go-
zone everything.
Watch me. You could start in ISPS in kindergarten
Mhm.
and go right up.
Right up your
Remember
line.
next one, Arbor.
The
Arbor school is the same model.
And you could go
Right up the
take it
10-year
on
schools.
ISPS,
10-year schools.
and you go straight up.
10-year
and you don't have to
schools.
leave there.
Critically thinking.
Don't.
And you get
That
a
is the
better
pro-
product
listen.
at the end.
Yeah.
How much mental illness in this country is caused by SEA?
Plenty.
People not taking. You know how much stress that is
Let
on
me,
children
let,
now?
Philip, let me show you something.
And parents, yeah.
Boys and
Oh.
You
girls.
about a 10-year-old child?
I've been advocating this since I was in before ministry, and I've talked to Manning about it, talked to everybody about it. Boys and girls have different times of development.
Exactly. They
Correct.
learn
A
different
girl will
things.
hold
At
up-
different rates
A girl
too.
will hold a bottle at 7 months. A boy will hold the bottle at 13 months or more. And when you extrapolate it up, the girls mature faster.
Faster.
The
Right.
boys are playful, and a girl at the age of, let's say, 9 or 10, maturity is equal to a
12,
boy
12
at the
years.
age of 13. 14.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, when you put a 9-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl to write
Two
the
different
SEA, right? The girl passed because she's more.
They see the
okay.
world
And
different.
that
But the
becomes
little
a
fella
psychological thing in
becomes
society.
the little fella now.
Thank
He
you.
looks
Men
like
are
a
failing.
fool. He
The
can't
boys are
pass there.
failing.
He's stupid. Look at you. The girl
Yeah.
pass here. And the whole society now is geared towards girls moving forward, and boys are wasting time.
That's right.
If you look at the fellas nowadays, you will realize that boys and them
Victims.
have lost their self-esteem.
Victims of it.
Totally lost.
And it's
Because
a victim
the
of the
education
SEA.
system spits
It's
you
a-
out after a certain
yeah.
you fail,
You fail.
spits you out
What
after that.
You don't pass to go
Cuba.
secondary school or good school or big school. What do you call it?
Prestige
school.
Prestige school.
You asked, you fool, you're stupid,
Mhm.
and you end up with that. Girls going ahead because their maturity was better than
You
yours.
watch kids watch the disappointment in their parents' face. Results.
When
day.
results come out,
When
you know.
results come out.
Mhm.
And what we've learned about how corrupt some of these systems is that children who really should have been in the prestige school didn't get it because
Because of the
somebody
20%.
That's right.
That whole 20%
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
all of that
and that's-
critical information that he just put on the table here, I'm saying to you, in every aspect of life in Trinidad and Tobago, we have that information, but we are not building policy on information. We are building policy on everything else.
But
We're not building policy on data, we're not building policy on.
Or nothing.
But in the
Nothing.
midst of all of
it's just
that,
happening.
Yeah,
every
it just
aspect
exists.
of the
happening at
education
Tobago.
system is exam oriented.
That's the next thing.
Every aspect of
And
the
I don't mind
education.
that.
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
mind that.
And I'm
But you
saying
know what
to
you should fight?
What?
Your exam should be a grade point average, and you should be trying to do better than you did
But
last
that's
year.
right.
Not better than
But
everybody else in
Philip,
school.
I managed to get Dr. Gopi Singh when he was in meeting to do continuous assessment.
yes, that is
We
the approach.
did it, and the thing about it, they've stopped it
Yes,
because
continuous
the thing about
assessment.
it, continuous assessment.
Not
was like
everybody
what they do.
has what it takes to sit down in the exam room.
in the continuous assessment
Psychologically,
in
Not
ISPS.
everybody just absorb
You
But
could
put them,
pass an
put them
exam.
outside there.
But
They can do it.
And I want to say this, and again, a good takeaway from what we just went through
Yeah.
is that you realized that there are a lot of professions that are essential to life.
Mhm.
That
That's
we
A
treat,
lot.
and
That
we
has
treat
nothing.
them.
Plumber,
We treat them.
Yeah,
we
but
treat,
Trinidad-
air conditioned.
but we treat
Here's the
them.
problem.
like
In,
nothing.
in Trinidad, if you come from a
Tradesman
particular-
is not respected.
in
No,
Trinidad,
no,
in
no,
Trinidad,
no.
And farmer.
in Trinidad, right? We
Farmer
should-
is the most
a
important.
lot of our policies should be geared towards youth development. If the youth is the future
Yeah.
and the next generation in the future. But here's the thing: in Trinidad, if you come from a certain socio-economic background, your goal in life is like a government worker. No,
I
No,
thought
but you're
let
right.
me be real.
No, I thought was
That is your
Then you're
goal.
fit, then you're fit for life.
That is your goal in life, not to
Yeah,
open
when
a
you-
business,
not-
not to
I
become an
went-
entrepreneur.
I went down Nelson
But
Street.
check it out,
I
government
went
work.
down Nelson Street. The Prime Minister get about 50 acres of land down on Nelson Street. And they went and cut a ribbon to say they're going to open a panyard. And I say, in this place, with this density of underperforming, under-actualized humans, you're going to open a panyard when you could have opened homework
technical
supervision,
school.
technical school, trade school. You
Come
could
to
have
that.
put down, you could have built indoor football, indoor cricket. You could have
Hello.
provided opportunities. If you wanted, I just want to say, if you wanted bigger pan, you should have built a pan factory.
This
Phillip,
content
Phillip,
is a stunt.
It's a stunt.
Phillip.
So you're gonna give Nelson Street an Spaniard.
Phillip.
How does that help? Where in Trinidad and Tobago, besides Silver Stars, where is the next working model of a pan side that people could say as a professional pan?
Pan
For the
man.
year. For
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
Why Despers left the hill?
Crime.
I want to say cry.
It's crime.
You understand where I'm coming from? Now, if you understand the culture of the area you talk about just now, as a minister, I went in there. I went in the block. Duke Street, George Street, Prince Street, Nelson Street. Oh, that
Border.
block. That block.
Yeah, borderline.
Let me tell you something. When I sat inside here, chatting with the guys, hundreds of them inside, they cannot leave inside here.
Yeah.
Cannot even go across the road
Mm-hmm.
because the next block down the road
Gone in for them.
waiting for them. Let me tell you something. The day I went there, they tell me, you see that blood thing in the middle of the road there?
Mm-hmm.
A man went to buy bread in the shop across the road.
Yeah, but you
And
see,
he get
Roger,
it
I wanna
coming
tell
back because they cannot.
No,
So
but
if you're
Roger,
creating
I
employment,
know, but
and
I-
they're hoping that government create employment
In that little space.
in that little
But
space
Roger,
alone, you know.
I am
Yeah.
saying
But you
to
think
you,
that is a solution?
No, but
No.
wait, before you say
No, I'm saying to tell you, I'm
So,
telling
Roger,
you the reality of it.
why we don't get the macro view? Because all of those blocks have that same problem.
Same problem.
Okay, so why don't we have a macro approach to solving that problem? Because at the end of the day, a lot of this crime is because of frustration. These are people.
Exactly, the education
It-
system.
it-
everything.
All right, I'm going-
It
I'm going-
cascades
I'm-
down.
I'm-
I'm going to say something
It
now that
cascades
other go hit
down.
the roof, eh? You go hit the roof, other go hit the roof.
But upon that,
Live sport program.
oh God, no.
No, I commented.
Wait,
Was doing
My phone
exactly
gonna
that.
ring, my phone gonna
No,
ring.
you're correct.
He's correct.
It was
You're correct.
doing that.
No,
Very
And
correct.
people were
It's
doing it.
intended.
Correct.
It was doing it.
It's
Stop.
intended.
No,
I was
Stop.
there.
No, no.
It was doing
Stop.
it.
It
Listen,
wasn't
If you
doing
tell
it
me
in
that
Arima.
next
It
week
was
I will
doing
bring
it.
Ashwell Creed here, and I'll bring him on the show.
It wasn't doing it in
Tell me
Arima.
He's still alive?
Bring, you know what to
He's
bring?
come here, he's like, man.
Bring,
Oh, all right.
bring Ash, Mr. Creed, right? And also bring Annie Roberts. I challenge you for that.
I could
And
challenge you
let
to
me
it.
go. Let me go.
You know they never meet each other, right?
I remember, Phillip, I remember. Live sport, I was seeing it happen.
Only bring this man to be a UNC defender. No. That's what you're going to
But
see.
live sport,
You
Stephan.
will see
people
that.
could understand
You
what I'm saying.
you're not going to see that in
Live
the comments.
sport.
People were getting
Live
$1,500.
sport.
Hey, no, they were getting $1,500 a month and a meal throughout the day, and they were saying to us, well, one or two of them in my area,
Brother man,
in the really
Let me
area,
tell you what the
Malik and
problem
places.
was with live sport.
This- no, let
Indian
me-
people was helping African people, and that was not the way
And the
forward.
thing
Live sport
about
was
it,
the
they were
PS
happy to get the meal and the $1,500 and the month done, so they could buy groceries and things. I'm telling you, the fellas, and when they take that away, they say moving me away from crime. It was happening.
But
And
wasn't
then-
it also a gangster paradise?
No. It was
But you see,
gangsters
we
in it.
cannot.
He was a
We
gangster.
cannot.
The gangsters were going and playing the basketball and they were getting money for doing it
Let me tell you
and getting
something.
food through the system.
You know, in Trinidad and Tobago, the media have a way of changing realities to suit outcomes. You know that. You know that you could hear a version of something. We had a conversation the other day. People say, Dolce used to lime on Charlotte Street, and you used to lime on Charlotte Street. They put it all together. You and Dolce used to
So
lime.
you used to lime on Charlotte Street.
Because both all used to lime on Charlotte Street. 20 years different. It's like when Manning sell the car to Sankey Subans, and Subans sell the car to Chedi. Is it
Right.
Manning sell the car to Chedi?
Chedi, yeah.
You understand? It's that's how it works. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, you know. The
But
problem with the
But
politics
I
in
was
Trinidad.
there.
No, I know, but you
I have a
see,
different experience.
but I want to
I have
say,
when it comes to
please,
that.
Roger, and I want to say this
Totally
to you, Fuad, and you
different
would have heard me say this those years ago, that the biggest problem the People's Partnership had is that they did not know how to communicate their wins.
We didn't.
They did not know how to communicate their wins. And the PNM that is so very good, and you boast about this because this is what this is your strong suit. The PNM that is very good at changing the narrative and bringing the noise. When you can sell your wins, they will amplify your losses.
I hear you.
They will amplify your losses.
I hear you,
Okay,
but
aquatic center. One of the world's top aquatic
that was
center.
tough.
You don't hear about that.
you don't hear none, you don't hear about the cycling
But-
center
but-
so much.
But there.
But for the intent and purpose of the aquatic center, that was supposed to bring money into Trinidad and Tobago.
Sport tourism.
Together with the
Sport
Cuba
tourism.
Hospital, everything, you know.
It was.
The last thing I remember,
whole package.
the last thing I remember the
What's the
partnership
money
talking
stream?
about was creating different avenues for tourism, sport tourism, medical
Yeah,
tourism,
medical
things of that
tourism,
nature.
Let me tell you something. The Cuba Hospital
Was supposed to be.
was when I was finishing with it, was going to be a state of the art hospital for both burns and
I was going to
different
ask you what the burn unit,
Fuad,
because that's
they
what they
suppose
did.
Fuad,
Yeah.
Fuad, I want
And
to ask you
also-
an honest question.
Yeah.
Because the Alsing had gotten up in the parliament.
Your other
and
questions
stuff.
have been dishonest.
No, but this one is honest to him. The Alsing had gotten up and talked us at a crap. That
As
the Cuba
usual.
Hospital
What does
was
he talk
empty.
No.
That was totally outfitted.
You were there.
I
You
was
saw
there
it.
when it opened.
What I
Now
want to-
everybody,
no.
I think
Stephan,
everybody who knew
Let me
knew it
show-
was outfitted.
Totally
Let me show you-
outfitted.
let me tell you what-
Rob Shop
totally
talk
outfitted.
and think that we just
German
facilitated
No,
this.
I want to
nothing
say
in
something. Cuba Hospital was supposed to. I had already gotten the Royal Society of Medicine in London.
That's right.
I had gotten the FRCS people. I had gotten the retired specialists in the state in England and the States, ACGME and them. They were going to come to the Cuba Hospital and train people and have it educational tourism. So people from all over the world would come there
Right there.
and learn, right? While we operated our people. And we also had a private wing that was going to pay for the public wing. No. It was going to be like pediatric hematology, pediatric gastroenterology, pediatric hematology. None of that
That was going to
exists
be
in
the top
Trinidad.
thing in this part of
And
the
it was
world.
going to be the first digital hospital in the Caribbean.
Caribbean.
That was there. And it was done when they were building the hospital. I was on top the back of the Chinese. I said, don't bring no Chinese codes here for me. I want FIDIC codes, American and British codes. And no matter what they did, I kept going at that because that was my voice from thing. Arima and Point Fortin is
That's
built on the
right.
same system for accreditation.
That's right.
None of the hospitals in this country are accredited. They were built for accreditation.
Wow.
Bam, gone. Oncology center would have make money for this country. None.
But I want to ask you a question, right? Some of these things that you are saying to me that are
Yeah.
successes, people watching the show will say that we're rewriting history. I want to
It
tell
was
you,
there.
but I want to tell you that it is those same things that the opposition at the time beat you with. They beat you with Section 34. They beat you with
Yeah,
life
but,
sport.
I mean,
I am saying, wait,
yeah.
I'm saying this to you. I'm saying this to you. That there are people in your party that think they understand communication and think they understand the mission of how to sell what you're doing, and they don't.
I'm gonna ask a question, you know.
Uh-huh.
How much of a role the media play
In what?
Well,
Who owns the media?
in silencing the facts?
No, the media was good to me.
Against the fiction.
I had no problem with media. Whenever I spoke, the media would carry what I said.
Okay.
And I said, no, I had no problem with
But
that.
do you all don't feel at all that the media might have played their bad
as
No,
hand?
Minister-
Phillip is correct. Phillip
No,
is
but as
correct.
Minister of Communication, Jerry Hadid was a bad fit.
Phillip is correct. You see what I'm
Jerry
saying?
Hadid was a bad
I-
fit.
I-
And you end up with Vassan
No.
Bharat that followed Jerry Hadid, and Vassan
No.
Bharat is a bad fit as a
No,
Minister
but
of Communication.
Phillip, let me tell you something. I did my marketing degree before I went in. And I remember one day both telling me before, and I now understand why you could market the health and market your system and don't get
Sure.
catched by the media
Mm.
because you know what to do. But you're right. Our communications
Oh,
was not good. When
We had no
PNM
spin
felt in mud at us, we had nothing to move with.
Mm.
And the thing about it, our whole system made no sense. because in our election campaign for 2015, the whole election campaign was started about Kamala versus Rowley.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
could
nonsense.
not,
Listen,
I could not
but-
even
but-
mention
but-
the women's
but
outpatient
Fuad-
center.
Right.
All
Fuad,
these things
they
I'm
made-
talking about.
they
It wasn't
asked
on
me-
the
I
achievement.
could
It
not
wasn't on the
even
achievement.
say
Fuad,
that.
I sat
It wasn't on
down.
the
I sat
achievements.
down in a meeting
It was a
that
popularity
Rodney
contest.
Charles led, and he was in charge of your communication machinery for election. And I sat down in that meeting, and I heard where they were going, and I knew that you were going to fail. That whole plan, so you had so much going positively.
To put it out.
But your last 3 months in government was a vote of no confidence in the
In
opposition
Rowley.
leader. You all were supposed to ignore completely.
Forget that.
This thing with
Waste time.
with talking about Rowley father and Rowley children and all
Waste
that
of time.
stupidness.
Mm.
That just galvanized
All
support
it
for
did-
Rowley.
Let me tell you
all
something.
it did was
Sympathy.
You remember?
you
remember
made
I
call
did?
members.
You remember that?
Sympathy, they got- yeah, sympathy
Phillip,
votes, yeah.
Look him there. I stood up in a meeting and I said, all you don't do that.
Don't do that.
I said, all you're crazy. All you go just make Roddy hit the roof and all you go just make him. All you
When
don't
Colm
do
get
that.
when
Said so
Colm
that.
get up in the parliament and say, "Come outside,"
You remember- you
it make
remember-
him look like
You
something.
remember?
Yeah.
You remember when
And
I
the
said?
PA and the
when I
US
said,
Motion
"Look,
is
tea room,
vacuous."
You've just destroyed our chance.
Just
of election."
destroy the chance.
You know something?
Yeah.
In the tea room, I said,
Just destroy
I
the
said,
chance.
you know what you've done there? Downstairs? You have destroyed our chance of
Brother,
election.
I was sitting down
Wow.
in the
Well,
viewing.
excuse me one
I
second.
was sitting down in the viewing
It's a wrong
gallery in Parliament. And when she started with that whole, because the house was empty, and when she started and I realized where she was going, I swear, and I tell people
Yeah.
after, I said I almost fake a heart attack.
I
I was going to fall over the railing and beat
stop
up
it.
on the
If
ground
you-
just to stop it.
If you see my face, I do so.
You know what the UNC did in 2015? They literally snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what they did.
But do you know
because the
something,
UNC,
Phillip?
because they start to print these, and again, I want to blame them because everything what people was looking at the contracts, and they print these stupid magazines. But the points that he raised in here, nobody, you know what they did? They ignored it. Like sport collapse because it was allowed to collapse. There was nobody to defend it, whatever. But they didn't do a good job of following
Communication.
through and communicating.
Let me tell you something. We
We just take the
achieved
blows.
we achieved so much
Yes.
in the 5 years that this country
But nobody know about it.
knows nothing about.
But you know, one thing I would want to agree with, no, I was against UNC around that time. One thing I want to say
See, it was,
is that,
it was for me then. I was in UNC.
yeah,
This
one thing
teaching-
I want to say is that, you know, you listen to the man on the street and you will tell you that 5 years of the UNC,
Now the
they
partnership.
benefited,
the
the
partnership.
partnership, they benefited more than this 7 or 8 years
They will
of the
say that,
PNM.
yeah.
I mean, you're seeing things happening.
Yes,
People was,
Stephan.
people was
Everywhere now.
living.
All over the
I mean,
country,
the
things
money
were
was
happening.
trickling down. All of us in the UNC was Stephan and all that kind of thing.
People
Things
have
was
Propaganda.
happening.
Propaganda.
Things was happening.
No, but I mean, Roger, there were some phenomenally bad, corrupt decisions made. You have to accept that.
That's a fact.
Those things. And because you did such a poor job of managing the blowback, his job was made easier. His job was to lead the onslaught. And anytime
No, he did his job.
He did his job.
but that's his job.
He
And
did his
you,
job.
but when you launching an attack against another army, and they're not defending yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
you had to tell yourself
Free reign.
it's either they don't know how,
Free
or
reign.
they have
No,
somebody
they
else.
get hit
But
both
you
sides,
notice-
swear, because all they had Jack on the next side, jamming all the two in
Yeah.
the ILP, eh?
Yeah.
So they was getting hit from PNM one
And
way,
you won't be
and then you had
because,
Jack,
because no, but you see,
They made
because
some,
they-
they made some colossal
Jack
errors.
jamming all of the
Yeah.
two.
The UNC made some
Colossal.
colossal
I want
errors.
to tell you
Colossal
how
errors.
PNM beat the People's Partnership. Eh? They identified the important people and they broke them. They broke Jack, they broke Anand, they broke Anil. And when they lost those three, Rudal Bonilal tried to sell himself as he could replace Jack.
But
He couldn't. Jack Warner, and I want to say this,
I think,
Jack Warner put that People's Partnership together, yes or no?
and I,
Yes.
I
Jack
think,
Warner was responsible for
Everything.
I think
Everything.
PNM would not break them if Jack was still in the
He
party.
wouldn't have been. I'll tell you something.
couldn't have.
If it's
Wouldn't
one
have
thing I must say,
They couldn't get under Jack's skin.
Anil and Jack. Okay, how PNM operates, right? They shout louder than you. We don't shout that hard. We never were brought up that way. We were brought up to be docile and do attack because whatever. But Jack and Anil were one of our strongest
You see the psychology of race?
and,
Yeah.
and
PNM PNM masters
And
that.
they master that. And they
So
come
they
at you so.
know how
To
to
get under your skin.
Yeah.
They know how to
But-
use your words against you.
But Jack and Anil was good at pelting
It's
it
not
back.
just it's not about pelting fan. I want to say, you need to be able to take it. Chandra Sharma couldn't take it. Glenn Ramadas Singh couldn't take it. They wilted,
Yeah.
and there was nobody defending. I remember calling your communications minister and saying, tomorrow,
I remember
Guardian,
that. I remember you calling.
tomorrow, Guardian, Chandra Sharma going to be on the front. I tell them before the Guardian print.
Uh-huh.
Chandra Sharma going to be on the front page.
Watch me.
And for some reason, and I don't know why, this is the truth also, inside the People's Partnership and inside the UNC, people was pulling each other down and feeding information to the media, feeding wrong
Which is
information.
wrong.
Which was wrong. But Philip, I remember, I mean, and then some of us were cowards, yeah? I remember one day, I'm heading down the islands. Yeah, no, I'm serious, I'm heading down the islands and I get a phone call, listen to the station. So what? I have a man on the station, boy, he calling my name and calling out my car number and all kind of things.
Panic, yeah.
Yeah, no, panic. Well, I busted through Colville Street there and reached down Traggage Road, walking the station. So I tell the security, I said, I want to talk to the man who on here now. Security say, hold on. And as he going upstairs, I follow him. And as he push the door, he didn't realize I'm behind him.
Yeah.
As he push open the door, so
You gotta run
the
up on the chest.
moderator say, I want to talk to you. Just as a minister. He startled there. So I know on the station. You understand? I say, you know me? You ever talk to me? Now we going live. And I sit down right in
Roger,
the
I
station
sit
there.
down.
And watch me, we had to go live. When he said
Yeah,
to
but-
talk, so here up now. He said, well, I'm not taking any call. Any more calls. Say the nice thing about it. And we want to ask the pastor to pray for us. If they had half an hour more on the program, I pray for 29 minutes.
Roger,
When I
remember,
finish, program done.
I sit down on a panel show on
I'm not
Power 102
afraid of you.
and call Imbert calling the show.
Talk to me.
And he calling to talk about Section 34. This was before Section 34 was anything. And he is trying to get the panel to understand that Section 34 is nobody's taking it on. And I remember a couple weeks later, Judy Raymond and The Guardian had run a whole headline that Ish and Steve to walk free.
Yes,
and
I
that's
remember
how
that.
they framed it.
That's how they framed
That
it.
Ish and Steve to walk free.
That is how they framed it.
And they hung Ish and Steve from
On the
Bandy
shoulders, yeah.
on the
Yes.
Kamla
On
unit.
Kamla
And
partnership.
they
yeah.
did not know how
To
to
respond.
You know what Imbert said to me one day? I said, Imbert, why are you telling untruths? He says, to use an untruth. To me, it's a statement. People who they do. People
I was
who they
asking
do.
if you all
In other
were
words,
paying attention.
it's
The
out
same
there.
person who was in charge of
Can't
the
pull it back.
political
Can't pull it
news
back. It's out
coverage.
there.
Suniti Maharaj was in charge of the political coverage for TV6 and CNC3 at the same time in 2015. How is that possible when that is two competing stations? The entire thing was set. You all
We didn't know that.
you all
We didn't
didn't
know
But I was telling you all,
Watch me.
you all didn't
Out
have
there.
a chance. You know why? Because your party did not understand the power of communications, and you left it up to people like Rodney Charles, and Rodney didn't understand.
Yeah.
So when Rodney
One of
dressed
the
himself up
things-
when he dressed himself up like an engineer and went downtown and playing spin the
That's
wheel and all that
nonsense.
nonsense, that undermined you
I remember
more
covering that,
in
yes.
people's
Nonsense.
minds. No, but I will never forget these things.
I remember
Because I was
covering that.
texting people, I tell your leader, I told her, I said, you are losing public opinion.
Yeah.
That's where you're losing it. Because you had so much done. For whatever reason, you did a lot of wrong things and people saw it or whatever. But you could have appealed to people's, the same thing that you just say, that people say they had a better quality of life under the People's Partnership.
It was a fact. It was a fact.
By far.
It was a fact by far.
Yeah, but they
By
had nothing to compare
And
to
nothing
that.
to compare to them.
Mm.
Now they could compare
Now
it.
they could compare it.
The other thing the PNM does do good is beat you.
Gosh, that fellow was a good
It's
minister.
beat
health,
you.
yeah.
But man,
A-class
you
minister.
see
health,
the
you know.
noise, Anne-Ray Dulal,
A-class
and Anne-Ray
minister.
Dulal is one of she's our research officer, and she says this all the time. She said the PNM's strongest power is bringing the noise.
Yeah.
Yes.
They bring the noise.
They could
They
bring the
are
noise.
beating too. They just
and
beat you.
tomorrow, that is the
They beat you.
story. You see,
It's not a
and
no, it's not a no.
Put
Cameron's
it out
still
there,
making
man.
the same mistakes.
You know,
Blank
Yeah.
man,
You know,
and the bananas and the
Susila.
ads.
Yeah.
But
Susila
those
and
things-
Camila.
But
no?
nothing
those
was
big,
wrong with
that's
that.
big.
It's what they
It's not
made it.
that.
Nothing
It's
was
not
wrong.
that. No, you
I
know
mean,
this?
It's how they, it's how they, it's the narrative. They,
Yeah,
but there's
they
beat
You,
you.
she
There's
doesn't
beat
have.
you.
She doesn't have
To leave it at.
the defense team that Jack had.
Oh, Jack had a great defense team.
Exactly. Jack
had
understood
it
to
good.
play the game. So you come outside and you bust the talk, and they respond to you. You drop back. The defense team handle it from
Let
there.
them handle it from there. Yeah.
She trying to defend her own self. She can't do
She
that.
can't.
She doesn't have the
You
ability.
leave you leave your warriors in front.
Correct.
You come, but she
Correct.
Kamala
frame it
Kamala
when you-
want to be the warrior,
She doesn't
Yeah,
have
but
that
and
she
that
should.
is the
ability.
problem.
She doesn't have that
If she would leave the fighters in front, I always say the same thing, Phillip, about when we went into the Crown Plaza Accord. I said Pandey did not carry his warriors, Movin Assam, Gillian Lucky, and strong people. They didn't go. The people who went there was an ethnically correct team.
Balanced.
Wasn't warriors.
I don't know who given Jayanti Lakshmi all that rope to run, but that is how she's supposed to
Yes.
be dealing with all. You say these people have skills, you say they have the ability. Show us their skills and ability. The only shining star in the current,
Is Janti.
Yeah, that.
Because she coming at them.
and I don't think they could pull her back now.
She-
They can't
yeah,
put
they
her back
can't
in the
pull her
box.
back now. They can't
Can't
pull her back
in the
now.
box. She's
That horse
shown
done the
herself.
stable.
She's shown herself she's strong,
Yeah.
right? And she's dealt the PNM a mortal blow.
She
No,
did.
Because Foster Cummins, it was Rowley's heir apparent.
Mhm.
They moved Faris to make way for Foster.
Mhm.
She damaged Foster. I think
Foster damaged.
over. I think
He finished.
over. I
You
think
feel
he
so? I don't think they're doing anything.
No,
I don't think
no.
that.
They might not do anything
Brother
there,
man.
but he's finished.
all them storm and everything else that's going on and distracting you.
Yeah.
Foster still there like
Foster-
a big bright pus-filled boil.
Foster
that made the ball.
cannot go further than where he is now. In fact, he has to go
In
back.
hiding.
He going
In
backwards.
hiding.
Nothing Foster do now could carry him forward.
Nothing.
She's
Politically, I was inside of him, right? He is finished.
She hit him
She's
the blow.
damaged.
She hit him. She hit him.
He is
that's a
damaged.
mortal
Dice,
blow.
that's a
Mortal,
dice, dice
mortal,
it.
mortal,
Yeah.
mortal.
Dice it.
Mortal blow.
And if you notice something, Faris doing this.
I don't think Faris have a chance either.
I don't think Faris doing this,
But-
you know.
Yes.
I think everybody else doing so. And
Yeah.
Faris still here.
Yeah.
So everybody going
No,
so.
Faris making that ministry work for him.
Local government?
Yes. I'm telling you.
Well, you know, actually, I was in a conversation with a guy before I come down here because he's in a little debate because something I see on the air this morning or yesterday morning, with the storm warning,
Yeah, I looked at it.
right? I said, you know, where was the communication? If the prime minister is not in the country, where's the acting prime
That's the
minister?
point.
Yeah.
And a guy turned and he told me, he said, but Faris
Faris
Al-Rawi
did
at a press conference.
Everything.
I said, Faris Al-Rawi, who now learning local government.
Not
But
that.
he was good.
And
I
there's
want
a
to tell you what
communications
that
minister.
showed.
Uh-huh.
What that showed
There's
is,
a
you see that
communications
schism
minister.
you say?
Yeah, he was there, I think, the
The
communication
communications
minister.
Nah, he's nothing. He's nothing. He's nothing.
Simon
He's not
Ingabrega?
real.
Heard anything?
He's
Nah,
not
nah,
real.
waste our time, waste our time.
No. You see that schism that you keep talking
Waste
about?
that.
I'm telling you right now, Faris. I don't think he have permission to do the things he's doing. You know,
Faris,
Faris.
I don't think so.
Faris don't have the permission. Faris,
Faris
the
created-
ultra
he created
theories
one
of the
He's a party inside
Yeah,
the
yeah,
party.
yeah.
They're not whipping him again. He not
No,
whipped. He
He
not
got
whipped.
clear.
Yeah.
Faris got clear.
He
What I mean?
But is that because
He give Jayanti the information she had to hurt Foster.
Don't say that here because you can get sued.
How?
Yeah.
You can't say he give her. Because I feel.
Yeah.
I feel. This is what I was told.
Correction on that, eh?
That
Yeah.
he made the information available, or that he
He
was the
feels.
source of the information.
Your Alex was.
He feels. It's a feeling.
The reality of the
It's a feeling.
situation is, look who sink and look who rise at the same time.
Well, I still don't think he
Nah, but
rising.
I don't think
still
Faris
think
right.
he
Yes.
rising.
I
Stephan,
think,
Stephan, I
Penny
tell
might
you
be there in
If
the
it
water.
wasn't for the
but-
storm
but-
warning,
No,
we
no.
wouldn't hear nothing about
No,
Faris Al-Rawi
no,
in
but
the
the
last
other,
2
no,
weeks.
but he captured. Let me tell you something about politics. If you don't capture that moment in time, you've lost it, right?
Mhm.
I remember one day Manning was on top of us, right? Gillian and myself sitting down together, and Manning jamming. I said, Gillian, I will tell you when to get up and apologize. You understand? The Manning going crazy on UNCB, getting lick up left, right, and center. You know, Gillian was on
Yeah.
the backseat. I said, Gillian, do it now. Gillian said, could you remember, please give way? Manning said, oh. He said, I want to apologize for everything you have done.
job
That was
done?
the end.
Apologize for what?
I want to apologize for the things that you're saying that we done or whatnot. And Gillian did it. I didn't do it, right?
Yeah.
So when she did it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manning do so. All right. No, politics is timing. Faris used
Yeah,
the
and
storm.
timing is everything.
He used the storm And he say, yes.
If it's one,
Opportunity,
if it's
door
one,
open.
God.
if it's
Door
one
open, door
person, if it's one person vexed that storm may hit, is Faris.
It's Faris.
Faris needed
He
that
was
storm.
ready to get on. He was ready to get on the ground.
But you all remember.
I watch it, and he go on the ground, he don't go on the ground, man.
But I see a picture in
I
the
was
papers
looking-
next to our house
Watch
and I
me.
got lotions and all kind of
But-
thing.
Faris-
But the tight pants and squeezing the ball still on.
All I remember when he was shifted from AG, there was a bulletin that he was going to have a press conference.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden,
He do press
press
conference.
conference pulled back, you know.
Yeah.
You
I
said
wonder what
just
is
now.
gonna happen with
You
that press
said just now.
conference.
You said no because
Stop that.
let me
Huh?
tell you something.
You must have
Sometimes
stopped
Diane
children go
Sukaran
straight
stopped
parents.
that. Diane
You must
Sukaran
have
stopped that press conference. She was the first person to stand up and applaud, and she said this is a great appointment. She told him,
Stop the press
"We're
conference,
going to
boy.
make this work for you." They're playing this Game of Thrones on the table right now. You know, that is what's going on.
Yeah,
But I wonder what going on, Penny.
But
Penny
Faris
is being
realistically
groomed
think
for
he'll be leader of the BN.
Huh?
Yes. Mark my
I think he
words.
realistically.
What he
I'll
just
tell
said,
you,
that's
man,
the only
Because
thing
she's
they have.
the only clean one there.
Come on, Amy Brown.
Let me
Huh?
tell you what.
Come on.
Let me tell you, please. Watch me. You
No Amy Brown, no Brian Manning.
What?
None
No,
of that.
no, 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 wait.
Only Penelope.
Let me tell you something. You know what he did? And I sat down and I put on the internet.
She's going backward.
Faris is good
Think
at
it.
marketing, local
Think
government,
about
right? He puts I didn't expect Reggie. I'm already Reggie. You need somebody to fight Anand Ramlogan at the level of Anand Ramlogan. Senior council to senior council, kind of animal to animal.
Mhm.
Like Reggie Amor.
You need to win a
Faris could
case.
do that.
Yeah.
Faris good at the other side. But Camille Robinson Regis is roots. Think of it. She cussed in and she could move and thing. I know Camille. Camille can really go down when you're ready. Penny can't do that.
Mhm.
Penny good at them kind of level to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
HDC is
What
jamming and roots.
Yeah, that better move
No,
Penny.
you need to get no.
So-
you
so-
need to get
but-
somebody
but-
like Camille there. But Penny have a air about her
Mhm.
and all the planning done already. Camille do all the planning and all kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you take Penny and you put her there to run the different things to get the planning system where
No
you
PR
to
in it.
deliver. So Penny goes start to look good at
Turn
this
up your
level.
rabbit.
What she named Camille going down to the roots of the HDC.
Yeah, I was looking at it
No,
the
but
opposite.
not
I was looking at it the opposite.
No,
I
smile.
think
No,
they
smile.
tried to destroy Penny.
No, they're building
Mm.
Penny there, brother.
The Bill and Penny. That move was the Bill and Penny.
That's
But I want
Bill
to tell you
Penny.
this.
Penny's
Faris-
done a Rango Tango.
Faris
for
have
us.
Real
his
strategy in this
You
thing, you
need a
know.
Faris-
Rango. I was an MP in
Fuad.
the thing.
Faris having
need a
his
Rango
best
Rango.
week ever. When
Yeah.
Amor cut your own shot,
Yeah.
and then the storm come.
Faris got
Faris put
clear.
it down on his knees.
Faris got
Faris was he standing up somewhere on some
Thank
hill
you.
saying,
You see?
"Thank you."
And
Thanking his mother for
and the partner,
But
the
don't
partner
tell
in Los Angeles.
He was going
The
on
partner
track.
in Los Angeles is now ready to become the president of the country.
Yeah, you want to be president?
Oh,
What
please.
you-
That's
what-
the next move.
But oh
Please.
God,
Please.
it's watching in your face.
Please.
This
Please.
rum shop
But
talk,
that's what
right?
you want to
Please.
This rum shop talk.
I feel what's Duke
Not
might be
everything.
president before he.
Not everything you want to be, you will
What's
get.
Duke might be president before
Not everything
he.
you want, you will get. But that is the
People
plan.
walk in the country flag, but they don't have like president.
Oh, so you mean?
God. That's
Listen.
sour.
Listen,
Hey,
you know
don't
why?
write up what's you know.
You know why?
People love what's you know.
You know why you go want to be president?
I telling
You know why?
that
I'm
last week.
telling you that.
Yeah,
Anybody
people
around
love
this
what's
table
Duke.
know
You
why?
can't- you can't
No, why?
president.
What?
No.
No, why? What?
It's our one reason that man go want to be president.
Who?
What's
Because he don't want Robinson to have nothing on him. Robinson was prime minister and president. He want to have that too. They mustn't say Robinson was prime minister.
I think Rowley done
I'm
that,
telling
man.
you.
I think Rowley done that.
Hello?
Rowley not in Robinson.
John with what?
No,
What did Rowley like to do more than anything
Rowley
else?
going to
Play
become
God.
president of the
Nothing.
country.
That
And
is
you're
what you
going to
do in
get
your
Penny
office
as
as
the
president.
prime minister.
Except
Closer
when
to
you've
the
been at
election.
17, well, 17
When
million
Paul
dollars.
and we finish. So
No, but
Man,
wait,
Paul-
wait.
Paul, I
After,
mean,
after,
Strike was
the
on
truth
the
is,
Doesn't finish. She doesn't finish the presidency. Doesn't finish. I mean,
when does she come?
Every 5 years.
oh,
It's next
well,
year.
well, yeah, but
Soon it's
Yes,
it's
yes.
always 2 years
When-
into the term.
Listen to
It had to
that.
be next year.
She set the bar so low
who's
that Paula May Weeks, if you appoint Rowley as president and he play golf for the rest of his life, you would
Phillip.
still be seeing him
Phillip.
more
Better.
than
You
you
say
see.
she said the bar low. A dog done dig a hole and the bar done under the ground. It's not low. A dog done dig up a hole
No,
so.
no, but listen. If it's one thing she was good at, was social distancing. She taught us. She taught us how to social distance. She good at that. She good at that. She's
This
champ.
woman,
She's the
the-
ruling
listen,
champ.
Her Excellencies
most famous moment, I think, as president was the complaint on the national anthem.
That's still.
On the performance.
That's
I think
still
that was like the highlight
That's still the
of what
It's top of the day.
that's it, you know.
He complained like that.
But that's
Yes, or somebody was singing
unfortunately,
it, yeah.
all good
Singing at the
things.
national
have
But
come
anthem,
to an
it
end.
was a great show. I
No.
enjoyed the whole thing.
Now we have, I mean, every time we have good guests, we make sure we tell them stand by on short notice or they're coming back again because people gonna want more on this month.
I would just like to ask just one or two more questions, very quick one-word answers.
Carry on.
Yeah. In one word, describe Terence Yalsey.
Don't do that, no, man.
Oh,
One word, just
It
one
would
word.
not be good coming from me.
Okay, Roger.
Would you use the word?
One word to describe
Terence-
Terence
Terence
Yalsey.
Yalsey.
Is-
But would you subscribe to the use of the word kunumunu?
No.
No.
Terence is my friend. Do about talking about.
Your friends?
Yes.
All right.
What? You vindicate Stephan because last week Stephan
I
said.
don't think a person is our acquaintance.
Remember
No,
last week
no,
Stephan said.
the man you say impressed man one time.
Stephan said you impress him.
And one time.
Last week when
No,
Stephan
no,
was here,
Terence. No, at one time,
In the early
Terence
years,
have
in
a
the
good
early
head.
years.
when he was a
Terence have a
senator
good head.
before
Terence, you
2015.
see what all the people with cardiac problems and all the things, and they have a problem. You say, Terence, this fella had it so, Terence will respond. So I ain't going to talk Terence.
But then I realized he's a clown.
Nobody did not say somebody could have used a good word.
He's a nice guy.
I
The
think
problem
Dr.
with this
Khan
rum
too
shop
much
is
to
we
drink.
don't have enough rum. Come, let me get some closing comments, everybody now. Yeah?
Oh, God.
Keep it light, keep it bright, take us home.
What's that?
Give us some closing comments.
On what? I mean, I
Anything.
can
Anything, the
this-
country, the
this-
state of the country,
I
the
wish,
future.
I wish this show become number one because it's an excellent show.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable and you can talk.
Imagine if we had rum people.
I know, fellas.
A lot of
Vodka.
issues that we
Or
can
scotch.
discuss over.
We looking for a rum sponsor.
If we could sit down here and talk all that without rum, imagine what happens if we have rum.
If we do get a rum sponsor, we will also need a lawyer on hand. Because we may lose our inhibitions. But the reality is, Stephan, have anything to add?
No, I think it was a good show. It's a great show. It's something that we actually educating the public
Yeah.
on the alcohol.
Yeah.
You know?
On non-alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is comedy rules.
Take us
Oh,
home.
I agree 100%. 100%. And I think we need to educate.
The country need that more than anything. More than anything, we need informed, educated, and empowered voters. Yes, we need people voting on issues that affect their children's future, not party-centric nonsense. Because it is healthy for all political parties. Just now, you spent a while there talking about the wins of your organization, and I guess we gotta bring in some PNL people to get us an equal
We had to do that.
But I just say to you that with an informed, educated, and empowered electorate, 2015 might have been different.
Oh, it's very different. Would have been different.
And I don't leave it
Yeah. Well, just in closing, close it up, right? Lock up your rum shop.
there. Lock up the
All right, closing time. You know, take your drink, but you can't stay here. We hope you enjoyed the episode 3. It was episode 3 of the Rum Shop. Who knows will pop in? Who knows who else will pop in the Rum Shop next week? But I learned a lot today.
Me too.
I think we cleared the air. Dr. Khan and Dr. Samuel. They
No, but when we
cleared
bring
the
the
air on a
PNL
lot of
people
things.
next week, and
They
they
will
talk
try
about
to
the
clear
same
the
section
air.
34 and the same life sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, next side, you know.
Well-
Everybody have a side.
Well, one is clear in the air and the next one is polluted.
Carry
So
on.
it's pollution and clear. Anyhow.
Carry on.
No, but I
You're
think
very
it was
kind to our guests, I
yes.
must say.
But we are they are the
very
guests.
kind, very kind.
You know, bring somebody
I
into your rum shop.
We
and-
also
and-
could
and-
use
and-
sponsor for nuts, chana,
Hey,
biscuit,
the bar
wings, the
snacks.
bar, yeah.
The bar snacks.
Pow! I went to a bar and had pow.
Yeah. We could put some Skittles in our bowl and all.
No.
M&M's?
No.
No. All right.
Have to be salty. Have to be salty.
He 2
Where's
weeks
your
ago
chef?
bring
Next week you will
a
bring your
2 pack
chef.
of M&M's and just throw it on the table and say, have some M&M's.
That's all it was.
Have some M&M's. A ball no. Yeah, you're going to eat all that by myself. When I start to eat
Eat
so,
all.
yeah, me but you
No,
even on
no, but seriously, we need sponsors for all of those things. They're a good show and plenty of people watching. But the chef,
Mhm.
I wonder if we can bring the chef on the show. Your chef.
Yeah, you come.
Yeah, then bring some food and share.
You
So,
come,
yeah,
no
yes.
problem. So, you
Rum.
know, next rum shop.
Next
But
rum shop.
hey, we hope all they value the information you get, and you know, take it as they gave it, because hey, I believe it to be things that we didn't know about, or we didn't have an idea about, and the operations of government is something that we need to educate people on.
Indeed.
And the Constitution.
That's
Indeed.
right.
You know your Constitution, you know your rights.
That's right.
Until next week.
Thank you, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Long live the rum shop.
I go drink to that. We in the rum shop. Yeah. Yeah. 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 So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk. Yeah. Yeah. So bring a rum, bring it come in the rum shop talk. Yeah. Yeah.